Since childhood, Yang's biggest dream has been to become a great football player just like his idol, Park Ji-suk. His parents also believe that he has a real talent for football, so in 2002 they put him into a football academy with a lot of hope for his future. But when he trains there, he cannot stand against the other kids who are already trained in a proper way and play much better than him. After some time, his coach tells him that he should practice football on his own instead, and because of that Yang ends up quitting the academy. Now in the present, Yang is sitting and drinking with his close friend, and it turns out they are actually celebrating his friend Lee Yong-soo, who has just joined a professional football club. Even though his friend makes it into the professional club, Yang is only working part-time in a store, and he still keeps the dream of one day becoming a professional football player. Yang feels regret giving up football when he was a child, and he keeps thinking that if he had not quit back then and had kept playing seriously, he might be playing on the same level as Lee Yong-soo today. While they are sitting together, Lee Yong-soo suddenly gets a message on his phone, and after reading it he turns to Yang and asks if he wants to go play football right now. He explains that someone named Sang-ho is looking for 2 people to join, and without any hesitation Yang happily agrees. Afterward, Lee Yong-soo takes Yang to meet the other boys to play football, but one of them doesn't even bother to greet him. Seeing that, Yang assumes Young-ho doesn't greet anyone at all. It turns out Young-ho used to be a very talented player, skilled enough to win the Cha Bumkuan Football Award, and many people even believed he could become the next Park Ju-hyung. But his dream ended too soon as he was forced to retire from professional football after a serious injury. Yang and Young-ho have had a rough relationship since they were kids, and Yang thinks Young-ho is still holding a grudge against him. Soon after, their 4-on-4 match kicks off, with the rule that the first team score 5 goals wins. Right from the start, Yang grabs the ball and dashes forward as fast as he can. He runs fast and gets close to the goalkeeper as he tries to score a goal, but Young-ho comes in and takes the ball away from him and starts running with it. Yang does not give up because he always wanted to play in a football match that feels this serious, so he quickly chases after Young-ho and tries hard to steal the ball back from him. Young-ho keeps the ball safe and then kicks it on purpose at Yang's leg, trying to hurt him. After that, the two of them get into an argument and both of them are angry, but then Yang walks forward to get the ball again. At that moment, a sudden lightning bolt comes down from the sky and strikes him. Yang thinks he is about to die in a pointless way, but instead of dying he is moved into another strange world. In front of him, a scary-looking man shows up. The man tells Yang that he is the demon of greed and explains that people know him as the Brain Eater, and then he asks Yang if he wants to make a deal with him. Yang, feeling confused, asks what kind of deal the demon is even trying to talk about, so the demon answers by saying that he is able to trade 2 different things with him, and those 2 things are both time and also an ability. He starts explaining about time first, telling Yang that he can travel back into the past for at least 10 years and up to a maximum of 23 years, but this choice always comes with a price that he must pay. The demon says clearly that if Yang goes back just 1 year, then his own lifespan will be cut short by exactly 1 year, and if a person goes back the full 23 years into the past, then that person will end up losing 23 years of his life in return. However, Yang thinks to himself that as long as he does not end up losing the chance to carry out his manly duties or go bald on his head, then nothing else really matters to him that much. After having that thought, he quickly asks about the second thing, the ability, so the demon answers by telling him that the second part of the deal is giving Yang his own powers. The demon explains that the power is the ability to turn other people's talents into his own, but Yang thinks that it is too hard to really understand such a power just from hearing about it, so he believes he has to try it himself in order to know how it works. After that, the demon puts his hand on Yang's face and then asks him how many years he wants to go back in time. Right after this moment, Yang suddenly opens his eyes and finds himself a little child again, now only 10 years old. He looks around in shock and amazement when he sees his parents standing there in front of him, looking young once more, just like they did in the past. His father asks him the same old question about what his dream is, and Yang quickly answers that his dream is to become a football player. His dad then asks if he still wants to be like Park Ji-suk, but Yang says that he wants to become even better than him. After that, Yang looks at his dad with curiosity and asks him where the Hypernova is, which is the official ball of the 2002 Korea-Japan World Cup that he has always remembered. His dad brings out the Hypernova ball before handing it over to Chim, and Yang feels his heart starts to beat faster and harder just from staring at the famous football in his hands. A little later, Yang carries the ball and walks to a nearby park so he can practice playing football, and while he is kicking it around, he suddenly realizes something important. When he was younger, he always wanted to grow up as quickly as possible, but now that he has already lived as an adult once, he understands that this very moment of being a child again is the happiest time of his life. Yang then makes up his mind to test out the strange new ability he received, and all of a sudden, a glowing notification window appears right in front of his eyes, showing the message that Yang does not have any talents yet. After seeing this, Yang continues with his football practice and thinks to himself that it will probably take some time for him to get used to moving around in his younger body again. Just then, Young-ho shows up at the park and starts picking on Yang by saying that he is too weak and cannot even play football properly. Young-ho even makes silly and weird faces to mock him, but instead of fighting back, Yang simply watches him carefully. While observing, Yang begins to wonder if his new ability can actually show him the hidden talents inside other people, and another notification window pops up in front of him and asks if he wants to copy Young-ho's talents. Yang thinks that Young-ho is definitely not some genius football player, but even so, he decides to copy his talents anyway. Right after this choice, the notification window says that if Yang wants to copy the talents for real, then he has to play football together with Young-ho for at least 60 minutes. Afterward, they both play football together and Yang loses like usual, but this time he gets Young-ho's talent. However, Yang thinks to himself that copying someone's talent does not mean the other person will lose their own ability. The time condition on the notification suddenly changes from 60 minutes down to 50 minutes instead. Yang then asks Junho again to play football with him, but Young-ho refuses and says that he does not want to play because Yang is really bad at football. To convince him, Yang promises that if Young-ho agrees to play with him, then he will buy him some chocolate afterward. With that deal, Young-ho finally agrees, and after they play together for a while, the system window shows up again in front of Yang, asking him to pick a talent to copy. Yang chooses a talent called the mid-range shot. Later, Young-ho asks if Yang will really buy him taekbaki because his family is too poor to afford it. Hearing that, Yang feels angry inside, so he just hands Junho money directly and tells him to go buy it himself before leaving. Afterward, Yang starts thinking about how there was a time when a video of a 5-year-old kid playing football went viral on YouTube, and that child ended up being scouted by Manchester United. However, in this time period, they do not have a feature like YouTube on their phones, but Yang remembers that there is another way to get noticed, and that way is to appear on a broadcast. He realizes that what he saw before was a youth development program that only aired during the World Cup season, and through this broadcast more than 10 kids were able to become pro players, with one of them being Lee Kong-cheol, who ended up getting scouted by Valencia CF. Later that night, Yang talks with his dad and tells him that he wants to appear in Shoot Dory, but his dad looks confused. Yang then explains to him that Shoot Dory is basically a youth football development program made for young kids who want to play, and after that he even shows both of his parents the audition form. It's Saturday the 3rd, and the audition for the youth program officially begins. One of the coaches, Kim Jong-kook, asks another coach if he isn't considering the other kids' skills at all. The coach replies that they only include those who are good enough to grab attention. He then tells Jong-kook that today he will also take auditions, and they will even use a promotional video for it. After auditioning a bunch of kids, it's finally Yang's turn. The coach with glasses looks at him and thinks that Yang isn't good-looking or tall, and he won't grab attention from others either. Still, he asks Yang to show something interesting that he can do. Yang quickly grabs a football, but the coach tells him that he can show any special talent other than football as well. Yang then starts bouncing the football with his legs like a pro, and this surprises everyone. Yang's skill wasn't something he built up in a day, but he practiced for over a month. Seeing that, Jungkook tells Yang that he will have a test where he is going to play game with him. Afterward, the test begins and Yang quickly runs past Jungkook and easily scores a goal. However, Jungkook feels impressed when he sees that Yang is not only good at juggling the ball but also shows more skill, so he asks him to try it again one more time, and this time he is being serious because he is truly curious about the boy's skills and wants to find out if Yang is really a genius or not. Yang takes the ball toward Jungkook but soon realizes that he cannot get past him directly, so he steps back and then uses his strong mid-range shot to score a goal from far away. The coach sees this and quickly understands that there is no reason to test Yang any further because the boy has already proven with his shot that he is truly good at football. Yang also realizes that the production team's reaction is very positive, and to him that means he has most likely secured a spot on the program. He feels proud that his hard work is finally showing results, and he thinks that if he can keep performing like this on the actual show, he will quickly become a star. While lost in his thoughts, Yang dreams about being chosen by world-famous clubs, just like Kang Cheol, who became the most famous footballer ever produced by the Shoot Dory program. Yang wants to follow in his path and join huge clubs like Barcelona or Real Madrid, and while he is imagining all this, Jungkook comes up to him, gives him a fist bump, and tells him that he will be the coach on the program. Right then, Yang's parents also arrive and greet Jungkook, saying they feel like they have seen him before, and Yang explains to them that he is a famous singer. His dad blurts out that all Korean people look the same, which sounds strange, and Yang quickly reacts, but his dad actually gets along well with Jungkook right away. Jungkook wishes Yang the best of luck before walking back to the production team. As Yang watches him leave, another status window appears, showing Yang that he has the chance to copy one of Jungkook's skills if he trains with him for 60 minutes, but the listed talents are bodybuilding and singing, which have nothing to do with football. Afterward, Yang approaches a bodybuilder and asks him to recommend some protein supplements. These words are enough to get any bodybuilder interested, and the man starts telling Yang about the supplements he uses. Yang continues the conversation and asks the man to teach him some good exercises while they talk. They talk about protein supplements, exercises, and playing football together. Soon the time that Yang needs to copy the man's talent is over. He chooses to steal the ranked talent called sculpted muscles because it will help him with his body strength. Yang can already feel his muscles getting stronger, just like after the first day at the gym. Yang's dad approaches the bodybuilder and asks how he can thank him for taking time to help his son. The man replies that he enjoyed playing with Yang too. 2 weeks later, Yang's dad gets a phone call telling him that his son was selected for Shoot Dory. He feels very excited and lifts Yang up and swings him around to celebrate. Yang feels dizzy at first but then gets very happy when he learns that he was chosen. He remembers the date of September 16, 2002, when his name appears on the list of Shoot Dory participants. His parents feel very happy because their son will be on TV and become a big star. Yang also feels warm inside because this is the first thing he achieves after coming back in time. He doesn't care about getting famous or having brands cast him in advertisements. He only wants to show his skills and become the best football player in the world. He holds his football and dreams of playing for major clubs around the world. The program Shoot Dory starts and Yang has butterflies in his stomach as the first match evaluation is about to begin. Their team plays against the best junior football academy in Korea. The producer asks their coach to make his team go all out against the Shoot Dory team. The producer doesn't care if they lose the match by 20 goals as he just wants to make the kids cry so that the audience will also feel emotional. The producer thinks that as the kids get better as players and as a team, the viewers will be amazed by their progress and the show will become a hit. However, he has some hopes for Yang, whose promotional video was a super hit. He thinks that even though it seems unlikely, one goal from Yang could do wonders for their viewership. He feels that Yang's talent will not be enough to beat the best football club in Korea. Soon the game starts between the two teams and the Shoot Dory team wins the coin toss and begins the game. Yang thinks that even though their opponents are considered the best children's football team in Korea, no one expects anything much from this game. He feels that most people just want the kids on both teams to look cute while playing, and that gives him his chance to shine. Yang shoots the ball with his full power and it flies past two defenders and the goalkeeper as it hits the net. Everyone feels shocked to see that Yang scored an amazing goal from the midfield right after the kickoff. Then Yang runs towards the camera for the biggest steal in the history of sports. He knows that goal celebrations should be memorable for a player to remember. That is why he steals Ronaldo's celebration even before Ronaldo invents it, and he was only stealing talents before, but now he steals even celebrations. The players and coach of the opposite team feel shocked because Yang's level is far beyond what they expected. Their coach Sangwon thinks they were lied to when the producer said the kids were not that good at football. He was a national level player himself, so he knows that Yang's goal is truly amazing. He can only think that Yang gets his skills and power from natural talent. The coach thinks that Yang's shooting technique is perfect, which is rare for kids his age, and he feels Yang has great potential. As the game continues, the prestigious football academy takes the lead and wins the game by a big margin despite Yang's initial attack. Yang also feels quite tired after the game even though it was played only in a mini stadium. His teammates are not as good as he thought they would be. While some are happy about their okay contributions, some are crying because they got hurt. Yang thinks they are disappointing, but it doesn't matter because they came here to train. Yang thinks that if he had his adult body, he could have beaten all the opponents alone, but he cannot win against all of them with his current abilities. The game nears its end and Yang steals the ball from his opponent and rushes to the goalpost. He gets surrounded by all the enemy players because their coach thought that no matter how talented Yang is, he wouldn't be able to break free from this strategy. However, the dribbling and juggling practice Yang did over the past few months comes into play and he moves past the opponents at lightning speed and scores another goal. He does the stolen celebration again and the commentators go crazy as he just scored his 5th goal. After the interview, Yang runs to hug his mom who asks him what he would like to eat for dinner to celebrate his performance. Then Sangwon, the coach of the other team, approaches them and introduces himself before saying that Yang's football skills are really impressive and his game gave him goosebumps. Sangwon sits down for a chat then comes straight to the point and tells Yang's mom that he wants to teach her son. She feels shocked and asks if Yang really has so much talent. Sangwon replies that in their academy, it takes about 3 months to assess a child's talent with football. However, just by seeing Yang in one game, he can say that Yang is close to being a genius. However, Sangwon then says that he still wants to help Yang's talent grow even if it seems wrong. He believes that the boy is in another football academy right now and wants to talk with the coach there before bringing him to his academy. However, when Yang's mom says that he never went to a football academy, Sangwon feels surprised. He wants to know who taught Yang football and learns that he never had formal training and has only played with his dad and friends. Sangwon stays quiet for a while and then asks the woman if she wants to make her son a professional player. She believes that it will be a good thing for Yang and he also wants to become a footballer. She wants to know about the academy fees and Sangwon says that they are different for different classes, but Yang will go directly to the S class. Only those with the talent and skill to prove it can join the S class. The monthly fees for joining it are roughly 1 million won. Yang's mom thinks that the fees are a bit high but understandable since the football academy is also prestigious. Afterward, Yang looks at the talent of a boy from the prestigious Cha Bum Kuan Academy and finds that he has S+ grade football prodigy talent. His system tells him that he cannot copy it because he already has a higher ranked talent. Yang feels thankful for that because despite his arrogance, the boy was still a talented player. Sangwon also has the talent to identify talented players, but Yang does not need that ability because he has his system. Yang thinks that he will certainly need someone with exceptional talent in the academy so he can steal it soon. They reach home and Yang's dad gets upset because he missed meeting Sangwon, who was one of his favorite players when he played professionally. Yang's dad then says that he feels very happy and proud of his son. He orders the best pizza from a famous pizza place to celebrate the day. Yang drools as the pizza arrives and remembers that back in the day, they rarely ate out at restaurants. He was aware of his family's financial condition when he was young, so he never asked them to buy him pizza even though he wanted it very much. However, this time he does not plan to hold back from enjoying the celebration. His family gathers around the table and shares the delicious pizza together. Yang feels warm inside as he watches his parents smile and celebrate his success. He knows that this is just the beginning of his journey to become the best football player in the world. The evening ends with his family talking about his future plans and the academy opportunity. Yang feels grateful for having supportive parents who believe in his dreams. He goes to bed that night thinking about all the talented players he will meet at the prestigious academy and how he can use his special ability to become even stronger. Meanwhile, Yang's mother is on the side with his younger brother, Hoil, and they are both watching Yang as he plays football. At that moment, a woman comes over to Yang's mother and first asks if this is her first time being here, but then she quickly realizes that she must be Yang's mother. The woman gets curious and asks if Yang has learned football somewhere before, and Yang's mother replies that he has been kicking the ball and playing with it ever since he was very small. The woman then gets a little too personal with her questions and asks Yang's mother what her husband does for work, so she answers by telling her that he works as a manager in a company. After that, the woman asks if she can afford Yang's school tuition, but Yang's mother explains that Yang is a specialist, which means he has earned a scholarship, so he does not have to pay any tuition fees at all. When the woman hears this, she becomes shocked and even freaks out because she realizes that Yang is the only student who has managed to get a scholarship. Sangwon, on the other hand, watches carefully and thinks that Yang's skills have improved a lot again even though it has only been 10 days since he last saw him play. Still, Sangwon also believes that if someone keeps growing too quickly while their body and balance are not fully ready, then that kind of growth could turn into poison instead of strength. Moving forward, Yang is able to receive many lessons from top coaches, and during this time he learns a variety of different techniques. When he was younger, he used to believe that the only things that really mattered in football were dribbling past defenders and shooting goals, but as he studies more about the sport, he starts to understand that off-the-ball movement is just as important as dribbling or shooting. Yang scores another goal and a system option appears in front of him asking him to choose a new talent, so he selects the free kick talent without hesitation. Later, as he walks away from the field, he suddenly notices Cha Durim standing nearby. Cha Durim is the son of Asia's all-time greatest striker, Cha Bum-kuan, and Yang cannot help but wonder why a player who showed such an amazing performance in this year's Korea-Japan World Cup is standing here right now. Yang decides to stay quiet and observe him carefully for a while, hoping to learn something. As he listens, he hears Sangwon asking Cha Durim if he is going to leave on the 26th of next month to join Leverkusen. From this, Yang realizes that Cha Durim has already received a call from Leverkusen, the same club where his legendary father once played, and that he will soon be making his professional debut. Thinking that he should not let such a rare chance go to waste, Yang quickly opens up the system window to check Cha Durim's talents, but he is surprised when he sees that one of Cha Durim's abilities is ranked as U rank. Meanwhile, Sangwon and Cha Durim start talking together, and Cha Durim admits that he has been feeling very tired lately, so Sangwon suggests that he should go and get a massage to help his body recover. At that moment, Yang walks up to them and says that he wants to give something to Cha Durim. Cha Durim looks surprised and even a little shocked that Yang recognizes who he is, but Yang simply hands him a small medicine meant to help with fatigue. After this, Sangwon smiles and tells Durim that Yang is going to become the next player who will lead Korea in the future. Hearing such words, Cha Durim turns to Yang and asks him directly if he wants to play a match against him, and soon the two of them begin to play together. After the match ends, Durim tells Yang that he reminds him of someone named Ewing, a person he has been training with for some time. Later, both of them head inside to relax, and while sitting together Yang looks at Durim and asks him to take him along with him and raise him. Durim tells Yang that he already has a coach named Sangwon, but Yang explains that Durim can still teach him something different from what his coach usually shows him. Yang then begs Durim to help, saying that he might never get another chance to learn such a special skill again. Durim answers that with the talent Yang already has, Sangwon will be enough to train him and take care of his growth. Yang does not give up and asks if he can at least come to Durim's house sometimes, but Durim says that Yang's parents would never agree to that. Later on, Durim goes to Yang's parents himself and tells them that since his house is close, he will give Yang 1 hour of training every single day. The next day, Yang starts training with Durim, and while working hard together, Yang soon finds out that after only 1 week of exercising with him he is able to reach both of the conditions that he was aiming for. Yang is left shocked when he sees how fast Durim can hit the ball and run, because his speed is much greater than what anyone could even imagine. But then the system tells Yang that it will take him 30 full days to gain this talent, and during this time he will not be able to copy any other talents at all. Yang thinks about it and decides that skills on such a high level cannot be gained right away, so he should just wait patiently, especially since there is no important competition happening right now. Time goes by and soon it becomes the middle of November, when news comes out that one of the country's coaches, who used to train the children's football team FC Shudori, has been arrested for gambling. At the same time, in the Elite Premium League, a 16-year-old genius player named Wayne Runa makes his debut on the big stage. After hearing all this, Yang prepares himself for a huge challenge because today FC Shudori is set to play a match against the powerful Brazilian football club. Yang starts to wonder if their team can really win, because the players they are about to face are not only older than them but also much taller, almost 20 centimeters more in height. As he looks closely, Yang notices one of the strongest players on the Brazilian side, a boy named Costa, who is already famous because he scored 5 goals in just 15 minutes during a friendly match against Flamengo's under-13 team. Feeling nervous, Yang quickly opens up his system window and checks Costa's talents, but the system explains to him that in order to copy these talents, he first has to stop Costa from scoring and also win against him when it comes to speed. At the same time, Sao Paulo's coach, Carlo, thinks to himself that with Costa lying on the field, their team can easily score at least 10 goals without much trouble. Carlo then calls over 2 of his players and gives them clear orders, telling Deji to treat this match like nothing more than a warm-up and demanding that he score at least 10 goals. He also instructs Casimiro to stick close to Yang as his man-to-man defender for the entire game. When Casimiro hears this, he asks if the coach really thinks he could ever lose to just a kid. So, Carlo reminds him that the match is only 8 versus 8, a format they have already played many times, and the field they are on right now is much smaller than the regular one they are used to. After listening, Casimiro starts wondering who exactly Yang is, because from what he sees, Yang looks like nothing more than a small and weak boy, so he tells himself that he should be able to either block him from scoring or stop his goals. Soon after, the game kicks off with Sao Paulo taking the early lead, and when Costa finally gets control of the ball, he shows off his skills by dribbling quickly, breaking past all of Yang's teammates, but just as he prepares to shoot, Yang steps in and manages to block his shot. The match keeps going and Yang steps in to intercept the ball once more, making it harder and harder for Costa to find a chance to score. Inside his mind, Costa grows frustrated, thinking that by this point he should have already scored at least 2 goals, since he had a few more chances earlier but each one was blocked by Yang. Losing his patience, Costa marches straight up to Yang and says something in Brazilian, telling him that as an attacker he should not even be standing in this position. Yang, not understanding the words, simply responds by saying that Costa will not be able to score a single goal against him today. Hearing this reply makes Costa even angrier, and he becomes fully determined to prove himself and show Yang his true ability. Soon after, the Shudori team pushes forward on an attack but Casimiro reacts fast, stealing the ball away and sending a quick pass to Costa. Costa then charges toward the goal but once again Yang suddenly appears in front of him and steals the ball cleanly from his feet. Costa quickly decides to chase after Yang using his own blazing speed, but to his surprise, he cannot keep up at all. Yang runs forward like a flash of lightning, charging straight toward the goal, and the people watching start to think that his dribbling looks almost exactly like Durim's style. Just then, Casimiro suddenly steps in front of Yang to block his way, and at that moment the system window pops up, showing Yang a clear message that if he can pull off a solo breakthrough against Casimiro and finish it by scoring a goal, he will be able to acquire one of Casimiro's talents. Casimiro himself is no ordinary player, as he is already known as a rising star who will go on to join Real Madrid in the future. Yang takes a strong shot at the ball, and even though Casimiro tries his best to block it, the ball slips right past him. Without wasting any time, Yang races after it again, charging forward with full speed. The goalkeeper quickly prepares himself to stop the attack, but Yang kicks the ball in a curved direction, and it flies right into the net, giving him the goal. The moment it happens, the entire crowd bursts into loud cheers for Yang, shocked and excited as they wonder how he managed to score the very first goal against the powerful Sao Paulo team. At the same time, the coach wearing glasses thinks to himself that Yang has not only managed to overtake Costa but he also broke through the defense led by Casimiro. Right after that, Yang celebrates by doing Ronaldo's shoe pose once again, and deep inside he realizes that Durim's talent is truly incredible. After scoring, Yang's system window suddenly appears in front of him and asks him to pick a talent, so he decides to choose the football prodigy 1. But right after that, the system explains that if he wants to fully gain Casimiro's talent, he still needs to score 2 more goals while making 5 solo breakthroughs, and there are only 30 minutes left in the match. Meanwhile, on the Brazilian side, Coach Carlo makes the choice to substitute Costa because his condition is getting worse, but Costa protests and insists that he can still stay on the field and score goals for his team. The coach looks at him and calmly says that today he has already learned something important, and he wants Costa to sit on the bench, think about what happened, and then prove it to him the next time he plays. Costa, however, responds stubbornly, saying that he cannot learn anything from Asians, and hearing those words makes Carlo lose his patience and get angry at him. Afterward, Sao Paulo scores their first goal, and this changes the game completely. When the momentum switches to the other team, Yang starts getting tired because he is trying to handle everything by himself on the field. Even though he is exhausted, he really wants to beat this strong Brazilian soccer team. Unfortunately, no matter how hard he tries, Sao Paulo wins the match with a score of 9-4, and all 4 goals for his team come from Yang alone. However, Carlo is really surprised by what happens during the game and has mixed feelings about it. At first, he plans for this to be just a simple practice match to show off his team's skills, but instead they discover an amazing player in Yang, who is able to stop their entire team almost by himself. Carlo's assistant coach also thinks Yang's movement without the ball and his incredible running speed are outstanding. The assistant believes that if this boy keeps playing soccer at this level, he will definitely become a star player, and Carlo completely agrees. Carlo says that Yang's basic soccer skills still need a lot of improvement, but he is extremely fast, very smart, and most importantly, he truly loves the game of football. Carlo believes they just need to wait and see if Yang really has the potential to become great. While Yang's parents are talking about the game, Carlo decides to visit their family. Yang's father is amazed and nervous to meet such a famous football legend, but luckily his mother knows enough Spanish to talk with Carlo. The coach explains to her that her son is like a valuable diamond that just needs to be polished, which is why he wants to sign a contract that will allow Yang to train at their professional soccer academy. Later, Yang is having dinner with his family and Yang gets shocked after hearing about recruitment from the Brazilian soccer team. Yang responds by asking if he is truly being recruited by the Brazilian football club, and his mother confirms that this is exactly what is happening and explains that he needs to listen very carefully to what she is about to tell him. She explains that first he will attend the academy, and after that there will be important tests with his regular teammates, but they have been told that other people will not be permitted to be there at all during these evaluations. The mother asks if he understands what they are trying to explain to him, mentioning that he is still very young, and Yang acknowledges that he understands completely. He remarks that his family wants to make it perfectly clear that he is just a young who would be heading abroad to pursue this opportunity. Yang continues by explaining that Article 19 states that a child can only be transferred internationally when they reach 18 years old, and this rule exists as a basic human right to protect young athletes and their well-being. However, he notes that in this particular case, there will be an exception made to these standard regulations, which means the normal rules will not apply to his specific situation. Yang mentions that the Brazilian football club also discussed the possibility of a youth contract with him, and while he feels excited about this incredible opportunity, he wonders why Carlo the coach sent him away without saying a single word to him. His mother explains that there were many reporters gathered around the area, and everyone knows how fascinating people can become with talented young players like him, which is why Carlo decided to have only a brief conversation with his mother instead. Yang describes how his parents initially refused the offer, explaining to his mother how difficult it would be to send their child abroad when he is only 10 years old. His father adds that he was only joking about his concerns, but Yang responds that nobody jokes about such serious matters in that particular way. The World Youth Football Tournament is scheduled to start on the 18th with final entries ending on the 16th, leaving only 5 days for registration, but Yang believes he still has a chance to participate in this important competition. The next day, Yang and his mother arrive at their destination, where someone greets them. The person asks Yang how he is doing, and Yang thinks about how Cha Bum Kuan stands directly in front of him. Cha Bum Kuan places his hand on Yang's head and jokingly asks whether the boy plans to become a troublemaker, which makes both of them laugh together. Inside, Cha Bum Kuan explains that the final decision about whether Yang can participate in the competition depends entirely on a simple test. He continues by saying that if they receive permission, they can investigate thoroughly, and if they observe positive reactions from young players, they will agree to participate. Yang's mother responds that if their son feels happy, she will also agree because no parent can refuse their child anything. Yang feels excited about practicing in the youth competition and confidently states that he can successfully pass whatever test they give him. As he puts on his shoes, he looks at the U13 team and observes that this is his first time seeing older students here, figuring they must be exceptionally talented individuals. Yang looks around and wonders why everyone is so tall, making him feel surrounded by giants. He then looks at the goalkeeper and notes that he must be approximately 170 centimeters. Afterward, Yang looks at the goalkeeper's abilities, which turn out to be level C and has a potential growth rate of B tier, which makes him impressive. Yang asks Cha Bum Kuan about what kind of test they plan to conduct. Cha Bum Kuan responds that it will be a full court game he will oversee. Yang thinks this situation will be quite challenging for him. Two teams form for the match, and Yang finds himself positioned in the corner when the game begins, with his team advancing while controlling the ball. As his team pushes forward, Yang notices no one passes the ball to him, and he pleads with teammates to pass at least once. Feeling invisible, he grumbles that his teammates show their determination by ignoring him. He decides to take the ball himself and starts charging forward aggressively. The coach and player seem confused, but someone adds that when teammates don't pass, players must showcase individual skills, mentioning similar experiences in Germany and emphasizing that football happiness comes from having the ball. Yang speeds up while dribbling skillfully, and teammates call for quick passes, but he continues declaring nice moves while maneuvering past defenders. He announces that if teammates won't give him chances, they must acknowledge his skills through actions, dodging opponents so effectively that senior players become bewildered. Advancing toward the goal, he shouts for everyone to move aside because he's going for the score, while opposing defenders call for him to come closer. He sends a high ball forward, the goalkeeper moves into position, and Yang yells for someone to head it. Number 9 leaps and successfully heads the ball into the goal, making Yang cheer excitedly. After scoring, Yang reviews his requirements, noting he needs 15 assists and over 250 official match minutes, realizing this represents one goal down with many more needed, while aiming to reach 180 centimeters height. Afterward, Hyung-jun looks directly at him, explaining that if he wants to become a domestic football player, he needs a name exactly like that one. It also turns out that the key weapon in this situation is height, which currently ranges between 170 and 190 centimeters. However, most players are generally shorter, but having height around 190 centimeters is impressive and quite rare. Yang gives a thumbs up and thinks that with growth potential rated B, this situation isn't too bad, and he's definitely going for it with complete determination. He makes another header forward for Hyung-jun, who assists successfully and converts the play into a goal. The coach comments that in his first game, Yang provided 3 assists and scored 1 goal, which is truly impressive performance. Yang clarifies that he was actually preparing for goals, but he passed the ball to teammates strategically to lower their guard and gain their acceptance. The coach thinks with an annoyed expression that this is a clever tactic, even if it seems like a small deception. The coach says that since he has learned to work with team members, he needs to join the competition class starting today, and the coach will discuss this with his mother while giving him competition class responsibilities. Afterward, the coach reviews his skills, noting that his rank is L, meaning he's on the path to greatness. His skills appear on the screen, showing he needs to score 30 goals from 30 meters in official matches and help his team reach the finals. The coach asks why he's staring with such intensity, and Yang replies that he's not thinking about anything particular, just that he hasn't seen a grade like this before. He observes that an L grade might be legendary with 31 attributes and explosive power, like a marathon runner with speed that even other skilled players couldn't match. The coach says that won't help him here, adding that becoming a legend will be tough as expected. Yang notices a blue A rating around the coach and thinks that this person is truly on another level entirely. The coach asks whether he received an offer from the Brazilian football club that took one of their players previously. Yang confirms he has received such an offer, and the coach responds that it's a great decision because it will pressure him to become a top player, but experiencing different environments will help develop his talent faster. Yang thanks him gratefully for the advice, and the coach adds that even if he goes abroad, he should stay in touch and report any difficulties. After that day, Yang intensifies team practice and focuses on integration, consistently providing assists that lead to goals and changing his position from poacher to second striker. As second striker, he can support forwards and help score more goals while managing midfield attacks with dribbling and breaking through defenses. The coach instructs him to make breakthroughs, pass accurately, and shoot effectively while balancing attacking and defending without letting pressure affect confidence. During the final training session before competition, Yang makes a brilliant assist for number 9, who scores with a header. The coach remarks that the synergy between players is impressive, and with these skills they could reach quarterfinals even against European powerhouses. Yang reflects that he's achieved his first condition and needs to fulfill the second by playing 250 minutes in official matches, calculating he should meet requirements before quarterfinals. It turns out that Cha Bum-kuen's soccer team is playing with a 4-4-2 setup to put lots of pressure on the other team, while the Polish players are using a 4-2-3-1 formation because they are really strong and physical. A Polish player sees an open spot in the middle and tells his teammates about it, and then they pass the ball forward quickly. The announcer says the Polish team has 5 midfield players who are doing great with passing the ball around the field. One Polish player tells his teammate to shoot, and a Polish player takes a fast shot at the goal. Yang's team is having trouble keeping up with how fast everything is happening. The announcer says the ball got passed forward again, and it looks like Cha Bum-kuen's team might lose because their defense is completely broken. A Polish player says they are finally making good progress in the game. Afterward, Jarazwat runs forward, but Yang comes to stop him, thinking that once he touches the ball first he can beat anyone in a one-on-one fight. But then Yang comes out of nowhere and takes the ball away from him. The Polish player is really surprised and realizes that the person who took the ball is a striker. Yang kicks the ball far and tells his team to run forward with it. One of the other team's players stands ready and says he will stop them from passing. Yang gets around him and wonders why that player is still running when he doesn't have the ball anymore. Yang falls down and asks for the ball to be passed to him right away. His teammate does what he asks and Yang says it was a nice pass. With 3 defenders in front of him, someone tells him to run fast and get past the blocking player. As he moves forward, player number 5 gets in front of him, but Yang stays focused and determined. He gets past all the defenders and someone says this guy is like a monster because he's so good. Now he's facing the goalkeeper alone and he dodges around him skillfully. The announcer says that in the 7th minute, Cha Bum scored their first goal thanks to Yang. His teammates came over and tell Yang that it was an amazing attack and a great goal. Yang says he wanted to score in style but his legs were moving too fast to control properly. Afterward, Yang's mid-range shot get rated C, which shows that his soccer talent is slowly getting better and better. He thinks to himself that if he can make his shooting skills even stronger, then imagine all the amazing things he could do on the field. He believes that making his talent better could really help his overall power as a player get much stronger too. He thinks about how much he wants to play more football because he really enjoys every single moment when he is on the soccer field playing with his teammates. He decides he should try this shot one more time, but he needs to make sure he does not hurt his knees while doing it. He yells out that he wants to get a hat trick and the crowd gets really excited and cheers loudly as he scores his second goal of the game. The force from his powerful shot sends the soccer ball flying straight into the corner of the net where the goalkeeper cannot reach it. The Portuguese players are amazed and ask what kind of monster player this guy really is as he runs forward with the ball. One of his teammates gets upset and asks why he is not passing the ball to him instead of keeping it. Yang tells him there is no special reason, but they need to focus on winning the game first, and his teammate will have to wait a little bit because he will create a good opportunity for him later. With only 13 minutes left in the second half of the game, he pushes forward again and scores another goal which completes his hat trick successfully. He feels really happy and excited about this achievement. The announcer says this player is absolutely amazing and his future in soccer looks incredibly bright and promising. The crowd cheers very loudly and praises his great performance while talking about how he might get nominated for a Golden Ball award. As Yang continues playing, he notices that everyone in the stadium is now paying attention to him because he scored a hat trick. He moves forward but a defender comes toward him, creating a difficult situation to deal with. Suddenly someone shouts his name and tells him he needs to give a proper header pass. Another player jumps up high to make the header and the ball goes into the net for another goal. However, Yang thinks to himself that he cannot lose this important match, not even if Japan's Koga is playing on the field against him. He looks at Koga's player stats and sees that his football skills are ranked at B level, his delicate ball touch gets a C rating, and his movement with the ball is rated C level to help measure what he can do as a player. The main task for Yang is to win the game and also steal the ball from Koga exactly 5 times during the match. Yang thinks that stealing the ball 5 times will be hard since he is an attacker player and not a defender who usually does that job. He decides that if this is what he needs to do, then he will play in a free roll position during the game. He talks to his teammates and laughs while saying that this match is going to be really wild and exciting to play. He explains that playing a free roll means he can move anywhere he wants on the soccer field, but he will need really good judgment and smart positioning to make it work well. At the 7-minute mark of the first half, the Japanese team starts moving forward quickly with the ball. One player passes it to Koga who runs with lots of speed toward the goal. Koga is in front leading the attack when Yang runs up fast to challenge him. Koga says that Yang has impressive speed and thinks that whether he is a striker or not, this will be a technical battle between skilled players. Koga tries hard to control the soccer ball while someone tells him to return to his position on the field. But Yang manages to steal the ball away from him and races toward his own team's side of the field. The coach watches this and wonders when Yang learned to defend so well since that is not usually his job. People in the crowd cheer and tell Yang that he needs to create good scoring chances for his teammates. Yang remembers that he learned this exact ball stealing skill from watching another player during their match against the Brazilian team. He thinks it is really impressive that a midfielder player could steal the ball from him, especially when the score was so high. Meanwhile, another player charges forward with the ball but gets frustrated because things are not working the way he wants them to. The announcer tells everyone that Germany beat Brazil with a score of 4-0 in their match. Yang thinks this result is really disappointing and wonders how Brazil could lose so easily when they are usually such a strong soccer team. He notices something interesting about the German players and sees that they are all around the same average height of about 170 centimeters tall. They look more like regular high school students than professional athletes who have been training for years. He thinks that their body build might even be better than his own speed abilities. He realizes that his team is now in the final championship game, but this makes him feel worried because the pressure is really high now. He looks at his soccer skills and notes that he has learned Kang's special talents and now has 8 different abilities in total. He knows that he needs to run alongside another player for exactly 20 minutes during the final match to help boost his growth and height development. Right then Koga walks over to him and says hello in a friendly way. Yang asks him what is going on and Koga puts out his hand to shake while saying that next time he will definitely win against him. Yang shakes his hand back and tells him good luck and goodbye as they part ways. In his mind he thinks about what the final match will bring and wonders what Koga was really trying to say to him. He cannot understand everything because Koga was speaking in Japanese language, but he thinks Koga was probably just saying nice things about his soccer skills. The next day the scene changes to Seoul Stadium where all the players are walking out onto the soccer field. The fans in the crowd are chanting loudly and telling their team that they can win this important match. Both teams face each other as the referee blows his whistle to signal the start of the championship game between the German football club and another team. However, Yang looks at the German player who will be guarding him and thinks that this guy's height is really scary and intimidating to face during the match. The soccer game finishes with Germany beating Yang's team by a score of 3-1, and the crowd gets really excited about Germany's victory while Yang's team feels very sad and disappointed about losing. Yang thinks to himself that this is his first real loss in an important match and he cannot really understand what is happening to him, but he promises that he will definitely come back much stronger the next time he plays. His teammates are crying because they lost while Germany celebrates winning the under-13 championship title for their country. Even though his team lost the big match, Yang still makes an amazing record by scoring 10 goals and getting 5 assists during the tournament, which helps him earn the top scorer award and the Golden Boot prize along with 4 million rupees in prize money. Yang feels really excited and thinks that there will be even more rewards coming his way in the future. He then thinks about how sad he feels and all the difficult challenges that are waiting for him ahead. He tells everyone that he now has 9 different soccer talents and people nearby notice him and say that he played really well and is the star of the whole tournament. Another guy asks him if he has his own fan club because he is so amazing at playing soccer. Yang tells them that he feels great and is really happy to have their support and promises that next time his team will definitely win for all of them. He says that the path to becoming an elite football player is now opening up for him and his future looks bright. He walks to the team bus, finds his seat, and tells everyone they should get going. The bus driver mentions that there will be a red traffic light ahead and wonders how they will get through it. Yang, who really loves football, asks the driver which country he thinks about first when someone mentions soccer. The driver answers that Brazil is definitely the first country that comes to mind when talking about football because they are so famous for it. Yang remembers that on January 6th in the year 2003, his parents arrived in Brazil for his soccer career. His mother said she really liked the place they were staying, and his father mentioned that while it was winter and cold in Korea, this new place was incredibly warm. Afterward, Yang steps out of his room and notices a girl with a bad attitude named Monica heading into the room right next door. Curious, he asks her if she can speak Korean but he quickly tries asking if she knows Spanish and to his surprise, they both realize they can understand each other in Spanish. From then on, they begin talking and while chatting, Yang secretly checks her stats through his system and is shocked to see that she is actually a prodigy. Wanting to know more, Yang asks if she plays any kind of sport and Monica explains that she used to do gymnastics before. A month later, Yang enrolls in an elementary school where he easily makes a lot of friends because of his friendly and outgoing personality, and soon he also starts drawing attention from the local kids around him. 2 months later, Yang finally manages to collect a total of 11 talents and at the same time Monica happily tells him that he has successfully passed the Portuguese certification exam. The next day, Yang goes to meet with Sao Paulo's youth team manager, Bianca. She smiles and tells him that he has worked really hard for the past 88 days, and because of that effort, his GPA has reached 9.13. She adds that his overall score is only a little lower because of his Portuguese, but even so, this is considered a very high score for a young football player. Bianca then goes on to inform him that he has received the top grade and placed first overall, which makes Yang light up with excitement. After saying this, she hands him an official contract and Yang reads that his weekly start will be 400 reais, which equals about 250,000 won in Korean money. Feeling curious, Yang asks Bianca which class he will be joining, and she explains that he will be placed in the U13 team and once his name is added to the official roster, he will begin playing in the weekly league matches. The next day, Yang and Maria head out together and while they are walking, Maria asks him if he is still in contact with his parents. Yang answers that instead of calling them, he wants to visit them in person one day, holding the Championship League trophy in his hands. In his mind, Yang reminds himself that he has 3 clear goals for this year are the first is to win the U13 weekly league, the second is to move up and play for the U15 team, and the third is to collect every talent he can. After thinking about this, Yang finally arrives at Sao Paulo's base, and he is amazed by the size of the field and the high quality of their training areas. Just then, Sao Paulo's coach, a woman named Emily, comes to meet him and leads him straight to the field where many players are already busy practicing. Out of nowhere, a group of players walks up to Yang and curiously asks if it is really true that his record evaluation score is higher than 9. Afterward, Costa and Casimiro also arrive at the field, and Casimiro asks if their team's league ranking will actually improve once Yang joins them. Costa quickly answers that it will, since Yang is simply too good to ignore. Still, Casimiro thinks to himself that their team is currently stuck in 7th place in the weekly league and struggling badly, mostly because they have been missing a strong striker, which is exactly the reason why Coach Carlo decided to bring Yang in. Soon after, the basic training session begins, starting with simple drills. As Yang goes through it, he notices that the training seems to follow the Brazilian educational style, which feels structured but not overly strict. Even so, Yang starts to realize that it is not easy to keep up, and while he finishes plenty of the basic passing drills, deep inside he knows that something is still missing from his play. Afterward, the coach explains to Yang that passing is not just about kicking the ball, but it is more about keeping his body balanced and making sure his posture is perfect. Later on, Yang decides to pay closer attention to Costa's talents, and he starts to wonder what might happen if he tries to copy a talent that he already owns. Soon after, Yang and Costa get into a small argument about who will be the first to score a goal, and Costa teases him by calling him slow. Yang doesn't back down and suggests that they settle it with a race. When the race begins, Costa runs ahead with ease and crosses the finish line much faster, proving his speed. After that, both Yang and Costa manage to score goals during practice, and 3 weeks later, Yang's talent reinforcement is finally complete. Afterward, Yang practices football and keeps telling himself he needs more practice. After 1 month, his skills get much better from B-level, and his teammates notice how fast he improves. He now understands what his coach means about being free when he dribbles and moves around other players. Yang wants to play the crown game with Casimiro, who is the best defender on their team. In this game, whoever wins can make the other person do anything they want. The goal is to steal the ball and keep it away from the other player. Casimiro easily takes the ball from Yang in about 3 minutes, which makes sense because Casimiro has B talent and plays in the under-13 league. Afterward, Yang plays and finally beats Casimiro by keeping the ball for 5 minutes and 1 second. His footwork gets better and reaches sea level, and he learns good ball blocking skills. Every time he gets new talent, he feels stronger and more like a real football player. However, Carlo watches Yang practice and sees how fast he grows. Carlo thinks Yang might become the best player in the under-19 league. The coach agrees and wants to put Yang in the next important match on August 1st, and they play against the 3rd place team while they are in 4th place. The other team has a player named Fabia who is really good at taking the ball away. Yang feels excited about his first real game and remembers when he used to watch football on TV and dream about being a player. He meets his opponent and knows he needs to score 2 goals to win. Even though Yang is not as strong or experienced as other players, he feels confident. He trains good players like Costa and Casimiro, which makes him better. Most importantly, his demon god powers let him copy other players' skills and become much stronger. The match poster shows both teams and the game starts. Yang moves forward with the ball while Fabia runs behind him. Costa watches and thinks this is the same player he saw before. He says he hasn't seen anyone run this fast in many years. Yang's dribbling and passes are amazing for someone who is only 9 or 10 years old. His defensive skills also get much better, and it looks like he controls the whole field by himself, and Carlo says Yang's goal will be perfect. The first 15 minutes end and Yang moves forward with the ball as he says his warm-up feels very good. He sees Costa and gives him a signal. They cross each other and go to the other side. Yang passes the ball with his left hand. Now they have 2 players at the back, but Costa focuses on going forward. Someone asks if they switched positions. The Brazilian player says the defense is stuck and there are 2 people in front who need to block quickly. Yang moves forward very fast from behind. Costa passes the ball to him and Yang is going to score a goal. He pulls back his left hand and kicks the ball with great force. The ball goes inside the goal post and he scores. Yang thinks he has been in Brazil for almost 7 months and worked very hard just for this single shot. The effort is never enough, but he feels thankful and waits for his celebration. However, Carlo thinks the first half is about to end and everything looks stable. Carlo sees that Yang tries to get his stamina back slowly. The main catcher passes the ball to Costa and the other player gets confused and they think these players planned everything to break their defense. The first half ends with the Brazilian football club scoring 1 goal. In the meeting room, the opposing team's coach scolds his players badly. He asks why they cannot focus and why they have so much trouble defending. He says the Brazilian players' hearts are much smaller than theirs, so why can't they stop them? The defender says the Brazilian team keeps changing positions. The coach gets angry and says he told them many times that when players switch positions, they must narrow their space and not give them any way to go forward. The coach claps his hands and says this is not just one person's fault. All of them are wrong because they don't adapt to the Brazilian team. They need to understand all their skills to win and remember what they learned in training. The team says yes sir. The coach says they worked very hard to reach third place, but if this continues, the Brazilian club will push them even further down. The score might become 0-10. They cannot focus on defense as they must keep the opponent's defense strong and attack right after defending. The players' energy is going down, so in the second half they must give their best or they will lose everything. The second half starts and a Brazilian player moves forward with the ball. Carlo looks worried and says the opposing team completely changed their defensive strategy to stop the switch play. He notices they use zone defense instead of man-to-man marking, which makes their defense weak in some areas. Two Brazilian players move forward while passing the ball. Yang also moves forward slowly. Afterward, Yang sees an open space behind the defenders and starts running. He passes the ball forward and it comes straight to him and he immediately passes it to Costa who shoots and scores the second goal. The Brazilian football club keeps their winning streak and moves to second place in September. Debutant Yang gets 8 victories and scores 13 goals with 3 assists in a very good way. Everyone thanks him for his contribution. Yang moves forward to the playoffs and the championship waits for the playoff matches. They are only 2 steps away from winning the league trophy. Later, Monica and Yang watch a match where Christian scores a goal and Yang says he expected this to happen because this player is on another level. Yang says Christian is his ideal player and he wants to meet him someday. Yang stands up and goes to football practice even though he should be resting. The coach watches while Emily sits on the side to rest. Emily comes over and asks why Yang practices so hard. She says he needs 3 days of rest before the playoff but he starts practicing right after his game ends. Yang says he still has lots of energy left and wants to use every chance to practice on the training ground. He thinks he still needs lots of hard work. Emily thinks this is unusual since only she and Yang are practicing. Yang offers her some roasted nuts for lunch, which are his favorite food. Emily thinks Yang is very kind. Later, the director meets Emily and gets some nuts from Yang too. The director asks why an under-13 student practices during rest time. Emily explains that Yang does his usual practice and says his name will become very famous. The director says he will check if Yang participates in the championship. Yang reflects that 2 months passed since his league debut. He now has a solid foundation that improves his strength and skills quickly. He faced many talented players in 8 matches who helped enhance his talent. He learned different skills and now has 14 total talents including footwork, passing, and blocking abilities. The soccer match between Brazil and Pakistan begins with the Pakistani player looking really energetic and excited like he is on fire. The Brazilian player starts moving forward with the ball while the Pakistani player feels a little surprised and tells his teammates they need to block the attack and defend inside their defensive line. The whole Pakistani team gets ready to block from behind while Carlo watches from the sideline and thinks that all these people want to put lots of pressure on Yang, so they have positioned all 5 of their midfield players standing behind the main defensive line. Carlo realizes that if the midfield players make a breakthrough with the ball, there will still be a defensive block waiting for them because these people in the forward defensive line have started taking their defense much more seriously than before. They have watched Yang's amazing dribbling skills during previous games, so now they are very scared of what he might do to their defense, and their formation is becoming more tightly packed together to stop him. Then Carlo smiles and tells his teammates that they have a good plan to beat this defensive strategy. Yang and Costa look at each other with understanding, and Costa immediately passes the ball to Yang who starts using really flexible footwork that completely confuses the opposing players. Yang passes the ball and takes it forward while saying something about making one strike that will be close to scoring. The Pakistani players wonder what is happening and say that this is exactly what they expected would happen, because as long as they can block the ball completely, they should have an advantage in this match. They mention that these Brazilian players have made a mistake here because the Pakistanis were thinking there would be a huge difference in the skill level of their defense compared to Brazil's attacking abilities. Someone asks why these Pakistani players are not stopping Yang when they already know exactly how he is going to dribble past them with his special moves. Another person replies that you cannot stop a speeding car with just a normal speed bump because it is a simple thing that does not work. Yang dodges around the defenders and moves forward while the commentators say that the defenders could not even react with their bodies fast enough to stop him from advancing toward their goal area. At the meeting room of the Brazilian football club, the CEO tells everyone that no matter what happens in today's important game, they absolutely have to win this match. He stands up with his hands forward while all the players are sitting there listening to him, and they all promise that in today's game they will win and become kings on the soccer field. Carlo agrees from behind and says yes sir, while Yang also says yes sir to show he understands what needs to be done. The CEO explains that the soccer field is like a stage for every player where they can show all the training they have worked on for months, and he tells them to get ready to show everything they have learned during their practice sessions. Yang says yes to confirm he is ready for this challenge. After that important meeting, the lineup is decided and all the players stand face to face with each other and join their hands together as a team before the big game starts. Yang tells himself that he should carefully look at the talent of his opponents to understand what he will be facing. He gets a little surprised when he sees the amazing talent that Pato has and realizes that this person's future in soccer is completely unlimited because he is called the second Pelé. He thinks that they have finally met a real football genius who has incredible speed like a car, really precious ball touch skills, brilliant individual abilities, and decent goal-scoring talent that makes him very dangerous. Yang realizes that if he wants to copy Pato's special talent, he will have to win this championship final game and score more goals than Pato to win the Golden Football Award. He wonders why Pato does not have a football puddle skill and thinks that since Pato is a football genius, if he could copy this talent then he would also become a genius player just like him. All the players start their warm-up sessions while Pato thinks about what is happening on the field around him. Their coach watches everything and wonders what the opposing team's main player has planned as a strategy to stop the genius player. The coach notices that Yang is standing in one specific place and people ask why he is positioned there instead of his usual spot on the field. Afterward, the ball reaches a ginger-haired player and he quickly thinks that there isn't much space in front of him to push through, so he decides to make a lob pass and then sprints past the defenders. Right after that, he sends the ball straight to Pato who takes control and begins running at full speed, smoothly passing every single member of the defense. The players try their best to chase after him, but none of them are fast enough to catch up, and soon the only one left standing in his way is the goalkeeper. At that moment, Pato pulls out his signature move, the nutmeg shot, slipping the ball cleanly through the keeper's legs and scoring a goal. Seeing this happen, Costa and the other players become frustrated, since they had trained so hard and practiced non-stop to stop Pato, yet within only 5 minutes of the match they had already conceded the opening goal. Meanwhile, Yang thinks to himself that with Pato's amazing dribbling skills, their team's only real chance is to find a way to score a goal of their own. 30 minutes later, his team is still fighting hard to stop any more goals during the first half, but no matter how much they try, they cannot find a single opening to attack. On the other hand, Casemiro struggles badly, as he is unable to stop Pato's runs at all, and just like that, the first half finally comes to an end. The coach tells everyone that they actually played well, which leaves the players shocked at first, but then he explains that they should remember the time when they gave up a hat trick to Pato and ended up losing. He adds that in this game they were ahead when it came to pass completion rate and possession in the midfield, which clearly means they had control of the match. Still, Casemiro points out that even after all the tough training they did, they could not stop Pato, but the coach replies that every team trains hard and only the players who show everything they practiced during the real match can claim victory. After that, the second half starts, and Yang encourages Casemiro to cheer up, telling him that he will support and back him up as much as possible. When this happens, the gingerhead sends the ball to Pato once more, but this time Yang quickly steps in and steals it away, since the same tactics will not work a second time. Yang then moves past the other players with speed and begins to feel excited inside because he truly believes they can win this match. Meanwhile, Pato feels shocked because he can tell that ever since the second half started, Yang's movements on the field have definitely changed and become sharper. Pato then tells the gingerhead that their original strategy is no longer working the way they planned, so they are switching from a one-top formation to a two-top formation instead. Soon after, the opponent team manages to steal the ball away from Yang and they quickly pass it over to Pato. Pato takes control and makes a fast run straight toward the goalkeeper, while Casemiro slides in desperately trying to block him, but his attempt does not work as Pato uses his speed and runs right past him without slowing down. Just as Pato tries to take a shot at the goal, Yang suddenly slides in at the right moment and blocks the attack, which makes Pato very surprised. Right after stopping him, Yang quickly takes the ball away and starts running fast, moving past all of the opponent team members one after another, but then he notices that a bunch of players are standing in front of him, and he realizes that the chances of getting stopped right there are very high. He starts to think about passing the ball to Costa, who is standing at the forefront, but he understands that this will not work because Costa is surrounded tightly by the opponent players. When he sees this situation, Yang begins to wonder about what choice he should make, and he remembers that normally at a time like this he would have just passed the ball to the side and tried to create a linking play, but now he feels that things are different. Just then, a player comes in front of Yang, so Yang quickly passes the ball under his legs, and the player is shocked because this is the same move that Pato used earlier near the goal. After that, Yang keeps running straight toward the goal, and he suddenly remembers the same moment he once faced during his training days. With that memory in his head, Yang finally shoots and scores a goal. Afterward, the ball goes to Pato, and he quickly breaks through all the players and keeps running fast, but Casimiro comes in with a back tackle to stop him. The referee shows Casimiro a red card for the foul, and Casimiro gets sent off the field right away. After that, the game goes on, and Yang gets the ball again and tries to score, but this time the ball hits the pole and bounces back. Since Costa is standing right in front of the goal, he reacts quickly, kicks the ball and scores a goal for the team. Afterward, Sao Paulo celebrates their big victory, and Yang still cannot believe that he has really won the championship with his team. Later on, at the Sao Paulo Youth Football Committee, the members held an important meeting about choosing the U13 League's Golden Ball winner and the top scorer of the season. Most of the people there think that the Golden Ball will be given to Yang, and they also believe that winning such a trophy will help Yang grow even more as a player in the future. Then another person speaks up and mentions that in the First Division League, there is an Asian player who is playing actively and even lifts the championship trophy, while in the Second Division League, there is a boy born in 1992 who manages to score 40 goals. The others then ask if he is talking about Daymar, the player who was already taken away by another team. The next day, at the award ceremony, Yang not only gets the award for being the top striker but also wins the Golden Ball, and on top of that he receives 3 million won as prize money. Right after this, the system window appears in front of him and tells Yang that he has gained the football genius talent, which is the most important thing for his future growth as a player. Yang even starts thinking about how some lower-ranked talents can sometimes combine with other ones in order to turn into higher-level ranked talents. Then the system window explains to him that it will still take another 30 days to fully complete the process of acquiring this new talent, and Yang realizes that until that time he has no choice but to wait patiently. After all of this, Yang packs up his belongings and returns to Korea, and his parents together with his little brother feel excited to finally meet him again after such a long time apart. Afterward, Yang spends the whole day with his family eating the home-cooked food he has been missing, and because of that he gets back all of his energy. At the airport, right after he comes back home, he also gets a request for an interview which makes him feel happy and a little surprised. Yang then sees that his fan club, which before only had 1,000 people, now has 20,000 people, and in the group chat some members are talking about his new promotion. At that time, his parents arrive holding his bag and they ask him why it feels so heavy when they carry it. Yang then shows them the trophy, the prize, and all the other bonuses that he gets, and they finally understand the reason. On the next day, Yang calls coach Cha Bum-Kuan and the coach invites him to come and have lunch later, showing that they are still close. At lunch, Cha Bum-Kuan explains to Yang that he wants to send him to the Dream Tree Expedition, which is a special overseas project made by FC Dream for young and promising players who have a bright future. After hearing this, Yang quickly makes up his mind to join the project, and Cha Bum-Kuan then explains to him that the expedition will actually take place in Germany. A few days later, Yang begins his trip and travels to Germany, where he will be staying for 30 days, and during that time, he will also be playing several friendly matches. After about 11 long hours on the plane, Yang finally arrives in Germany, and as soon as he gets there, he is shocked and amazed by the extraordinary equipment that he sees around him. He starts wondering in his mind about who the famous players there might be, but suddenly a ball hits him, and when he turns around, he is surprised to find Durim standing there. When Yang sees Durim, he wonders how in just 1 year Durim has aged so much, but then Yang explains to him that he was actually in Brazil, which leaves Durim very surprised. After that, Yang looks at his own skill set and notices that some of his talents are upgraded compared to the last time, and on top of that he has even gained one more new talent. Still, Yang keeps thinking about why he has not received any completely new talents of his own, but then he notices that Durim has some new talents, and he makes up his mind to try and acquire them next. For the next 4 days, Yang spends his time watching the Frankfurt U13 training sessions and also joining in himself whenever he gets the chance, using the opportunity to learn as much as he can. Later, Yang meets Hyung-jun and asks him if he knows a kid named Young-ho, but Hyung-jun says that he has no idea who that is. It turns out that Young-ho was supposed to win the Cha Bum-kuan football award, but he never did because the future has been changed. Finally, the day of the match against Frankfurt U13 comes, and Yang sets his eyes on his target, who is Moharapa, a typical striker that stands out on the field. Yang likes the talents that Moharapa shows and he already plans in his mind that he wants to acquire them for himself. After that, Yang moves as fast as a leopard and manages to score his first goal very quickly, surprising everyone. Watching this happen, Durim turns to Cha Bum-kuan and asks when he thinks Yang will be chosen for the national team, but Cha Bum-kuan explains that he cannot predict the future, though he admits that he has a very good feeling about Yang's chances. Afterward, Yang scores his second goal in less than 10 minutes and he feels proud because he thinks that his dribbling has gotten much better and the accuracy of his mid-range shots has also improved a lot. When the second half begins, Frankfurt tries to make a counterattack and the coach keeps watching closely, thinking that Yang is flying back and forth between offense and defense but is still focusing mainly on the attack. As the game continues, the ball is passed to Yang, so he quickly activates his dribbling and footwork skill, running past the opponent players one after another, and they are left shocked at how fast and smooth he moves. After that, another player appears right in front of Yang, but he dodges him with quick movement and runs past, which causes the player to lose balance and fall down behind him. Seeing him play, Yang realizes that he used to be like that as well, and he remembers the taste of it when he once faced Germany's Schwenkfeld in the past. Yang then moves closer to the goalkeeper and uses a trick shot to send the ball into the net, scoring another goal with style. Watching this, everyone around starts to think that there really is something different about learning football in Brazil, and it shows in the way Yang plays. By the end of the match, Benil Murafa manages to score the first goal for Frankfurt, but at the same moment the final whistle blows, and the Dream Tree team finishes with a 4-1 victory. After the game ends, Yang gains his new talents, and with these added he now has a total of 16 talents in his collection. Later, everyone unpacks their bags at the Munich training camp dormitory, and since they have some free time, they decide to go sightseeing together. All the German buddies start gathering around Yang, giving him lots of compliments, and even hand him a hot dog to eat. After finishing his food, the players tell Yang that in the afternoon they are planning to visit the museum, and they ask him if he wants to come along with them too. However, Yang shakes his head and says that he would rather go back and sleep, but deep inside he feels that what he really wants is to spend time talking with Durim and Cha Bum-kuan instead. Meanwhile, out on a field, a boy named Gabriel tells another boy named Bastian that his biggest role model is Cha Bum-kuan. He also says with excitement that he is going to meet his role model today, and with that he quickly leaves the place to get ready. When Gabriel arrives at the building, he sees Yang waiting outside, but when Yang turns around, he is shocked to find a star player that everyone already knows standing right in front of him. What surprises him even more is the huge number of talents that Gabriel has, and Yang quickly realizes that Gabriel is on a completely different level compared to the rest of the youth players. Still, unlike with other players, Yang notices that there are many strict conditions he must meet in order to copy Gabriel's talents. Inside the house, Yang watches Gabriel talking with excitement to Cha Bum-kuan, and he wonders why Gabriel is acting like that even though he is already a famous player himself. After some time, Gabriel asks Cha Bum-kuan about who Yang is, so Cha Bum-kuan introduces him and explains that Yang is a promising player from Korea who is currently learning football. Afterward, Yang asks Gabriel how he can become really good at football, but Gabriel replies in German that Yang cannot understand, which makes Cha Bum-kuan laugh out loud. Cha Bum-kuan then tells Yang that there is no such thing as a free lunch, and if Yang can win the game against Munich, then he will give him the answer he is looking for. 2 days later, Yang's team plays a match against Munich, and a player named Finchen scores the first goal for his side. As the game goes on, Yang realizes that Munich's defense looks pretty average, but their attack is very strong, and he cannot break through them with just ordinary moves because they have Thomas Muller leading the way. It turns out that Thomas is the one who won the Golden Boot at the 2010 South Africa World Cup, and he has so many talents and techniques that make him completely unmatchable compared to others. Afterward, Yang tries to score a goal 2 different times, but both shots miss, and he starts to wonder if he is getting distracted because of Thomas's strong play on the field. Soon after, the other team manages to score another goal, and just like that, Yang's team ends up losing the match. Yang realizes that this is actually the first time he has ever lost a game against a striker team, and when he thinks about playing against Munich again, the thought makes him feel heavy inside. He starts feeling down and upset, and he does not even eat properly while the people around him try to encourage him, but he keeps wondering why he performed so badly. At that moment, Junhyung shows up and tells Yang that the coach is looking for him, and he also adds that the coach is giving a briefing about the schedule for the upcoming Four Continents Youth Tournament. After hearing this, Yang thinks to himself that this is his last chance, and if he scores 4 goals, then he will be able to copy Balik's talent. The next day, Yang and the other players begin their training session with the basic drills, and the focus is placed on 3 important set pieces, which are corner kicks, free kicks, and penalty kicks. During the practice, Cha Bum-Kuan feels that something is not right with Yang, so he calls him over to the side. Cha Bum-Kuan then asks Yang if playing football has not been going well for him lately, and Yang admits that it is true, explaining that his mind feels too overwhelmed and his body is not reacting the way it should. After hearing this, Cha Bum-Kuan tells him that the reason is because he has too many thoughts in his head while playing. Later on, Munich plays a match against Hamburg, and both Yang and Cha Bum-Kuan watch the game together from the side. While observing, Cha Bum-Kuan asks Yang what he thinks about the match, and Yang realizes without any doubt that Munich is performing really well. Afterward, Cha Bum-Kuan asks Yang what he thinks about Hamburg, and Yang answers that it looks like they are just being dragged around on the field and cannot carry out the plays they had prepared at all. Cha Bum-Kuan then tells Yang that he needs to clear his mind whenever he plays football, because if he becomes anxious from thinking too much, his body will only get stiff and heavy. Hearing this, Yang realizes that Cha Bum-Kuan is right, since he was feeling anxious about having to score more goals than others, and the pressure of trying to reach 5 goals was making him feel suffocated. About a week later, the tournament finally begins, and this time Yang feels confident and promises himself that he will not overthink anything when he plays. Afterward, Yang's team plays another match against Munich, and during the game, the ball suddenly comes rolling toward Yang, who is already running forward. Munich's player Daniel chases after him and quickly gets closer, but Yang uses his strong physique technique to block him. Yang then stands in front of him and steals the ball, but then he passes it quickly to Hyung. Right after that, Yang sprints toward the goalkeeper with the speed of a flash, and Hyung sends the ball back to him. Yang wastes no time and scores a clean goal. The Munich players are shocked, thinking that it hasn't even been 30 seconds since the game started, and Yang has already scored. For the next 30 minutes, both sides will do their best to defend, but eventually the score gets tied when Wheeler manages to score a goal for Munich. Afterward, the second half begins, and the Munich players think Yang is playing like a strong tree, a goal scorer, and a playmaker all at once. Because of that, all the Munich players decide to press Yang together. But then, one of them crashes into Yang's knee, and he falls to the ground. Even while in pain, Yang tells his teammates that this is their chance since they've earned a rare free kick. The Munich player who fouled him is shocked, wondering how Yang can even take the key. Meanwhile, Yang thinks to himself that the distance to the goalpost is about 24 meters, which makes him believe that his teammates would not be able to reach it properly, so he prefers to take the shot on his own instead. Yang also remembers that there is one important lesson he learned back when he was miserably defeated, and that lesson is to always aim at the opponent's strong point rather than avoiding it. But the goalkeeper in front of him is Fer Lindemann, and his strength is in controlling the goal line because of his tall height, while his ability to stop mid-range shots is also considered the best. On the other hand, Fer himself thinks that Yang is only an average-level shooter, so he feels that playing a set play against him would be a much safer choice. CK in this condition. After that, Yang moves in closer toward the goalpost and kicks the ball directly, sending it straight into the net and scoring a goal. For this strike, Yang uses the laces drive, which is a shooting technique where a player can hit long-range shots very efficiently without needing to take many steps before the kick. After that, Yang's team is caught off guard for a moment, which allows the Munich players to take advantage and score another point for themselves, but right after that Yang gets hold of the ball and manages to score a third goal for his team. Soon after, the Munich side answers back again by scoring another goal of their own, and now the match becomes tied with equal scores on both sides. Then the referee gives everyone 5 more minutes of extra extension time, and Cha Bum-Kuan thinks to himself that the players have already reached their physical limit, and if they try to keep attacking in this condition it would turn into something completely insane. After that, Yang's team gets a chance for a penalty kick, and the one who steps up to take the shot is Hyung Jun, who easily sends the ball into the net and scores. Then it becomes the other team's turn and they also manage to score, but right after that Yang's team scores again and both sides keep fighting hard without giving even the smallest chance to each other. However, when the fifth kicker from Munich takes his shot, he ends up missing it, which puts all the pressure on the last kicker from the Dream Tree expedition, and that player happens to be Yang. With full focus, Yang steps forward and easily scores the goal that wins the whole match for his team. After the game ends, Waller personally comes over to pick up Yang, and Yang quietly hopes that one day he will get to play together with him again. Yang then thinks about the fact that he has only scored 4 goals and that if he had scored just one more, he would have met the original condition. Still, the system gives him another talent anyway, and he chooses to focus on sharpening the talents that he has already gained. 2 days later, Yang's team ends up losing the match against Seed United, but even after the loss the coach tells everyone that beating Munich before was already a great achievement for them to be proud of. On the very next day, Cha Bum-Kuan calls Yang to his hotel so that he can meet with Gabriel once again, since Gabriel came there to remind Yang about the promise he had made earlier. Gabriel explains to Yang that he was watching his game carefully and he believes that Yang can become a player like him if he keeps working even harder. After that, Gabriel begins to share the way he himself became good at football, saying that whenever he plays he always draws the whole field clearly in his head. He also adds that Yang needs to learn how to read the movement of the players, the actions of the team, and the entire flow of the game if he wants to reach that level. Just then, a system window pops up in front of Yang and tells him that he can pick the talent he wants to get 33 days early. Yang feels confused because the condition was to score 5 goals, so he wonders why the system is now letting him pick the talent without that. After thinking for a bit, Yang chooses the midfield command talent, since in his heart he feels he does not want to be only a striker who just scores goals, but he wants to be an attacking player who also leads the whole game. After this choice, Gabriel promises that he will help Yang through every step of becoming a pro player, and he even says he will give him his own personal lessons. A few days later, Yang goes back to Brazil again, and there he meets Monica once more, which makes him feel happy to see her again. Monica notices right away that Yang has gotten taller since the last time they met, and Yang himself thinks that Monica has many different talents that make her special. About a month later, Yang finally starts his training, and during that time he suddenly gets a notification from the system saying that his midfield command talent is also linked to other talents. Yang quickly realizes that because of this, the speed of his talent growth is much faster than before, especially when it comes to 3 of his physical-related talents that are improving very quickly. Just then, Coach Carlo shows up and asks Yang if he has free time tomorrow after school, and when Yang answers that he does, Carlo tells him to come to the physical measurement room to get tested. On the next day, Yang arrives there and finds both Casimiro and Costa already waiting inside the medical test room. The medical test this time is much more detailed and complicated than the one Yang took back when he was in U13, since it now includes several different checks on many parts of the human body and bones. Along with the basic tests he already did during U13, there are a number of new and extra tests added this time to make sure everything is covered. After all the tests are finished, Coach Carlo learns that Yang has broken the 4-second barrier in the sprint run and officially recorded an amazing 3.97 seconds. Coach Carlo thinks right away that this record is on the same level as domestic prodigies and that Yang would already be counted among the very top players. Then Coach Carlo also hears the news that Yang not only passed the U15 standard but went far beyond it, which impresses him even more. At the same time, Yang discovers from the medical results that his height has increased by 7 centimeters in just 4 months, and he starts to wonder to himself if his speed might grow even more as he continues to get taller. Just then, Coach Carlo shows up and informs Yang that from now on he will be training at the main facility because he has officially been promoted to the U15 team. Later on, Yang tells Carlo that during his time in Germany he realized something important, which is a new way of thinking about his outlook on football and how he should approach the game. But Carlo explains to him that once he moves up to U15, he is going to face a completely different style of football, so he must learn how to adapt quickly to that new level of play. Yang also lets Carlo know that he wants to add one more match into his contract and play 31 games instead of 30, and Carlo accepts the request without any problem. Later, when Yang goes to the main facility, he finally gets the chance to meet Bianca again after a whole year apart. With just 1 month left before the National Soccer League begins in Brazil, Yang comes to realize that the schedule is extremely packed for the next 10 months, since this country is known for being deeply passionate about soccer. Afterward, Yang steps onto the field and quickly feels that the atmosphere there is completely different from what he is used to, and he also thinks that the players are not openly showing much of their emotions during the game. Suddenly, Yang notices another guy standing right beside him and feels that the face looks strangely familiar to him. It turns out that this player is Rosca, one of Brazil's top 3 young prospects and also someone who made a big name for himself during the PEL tournament. Later on, the coach tells the whole group that they will be divided into 2 sides and play practice matches, which ends up putting Yang and Rosca against each other as opponents from different teams. After that, the match begins and Yang wastes no time as he quickly scores a goal for his team, while on the other side even Rosca starts to think that Yang is someone special. Rosca is an excellent player himself, and his natural position is one that plays very close to a shadow striker role. Later on, when Rosca gets hold of the ball, he begins to run straight toward the goal net with speed, but Yang quickly chases after him and manages to catch up. At that moment, Rosca realizes that if he keeps holding onto the ball in this way, he will definitely end up getting tackled. Just as he fears, Yang succeeds in stealing the ball right out of his control, which leaves Rosca completely shocked since Yang is smaller than him in size yet still managed to outplay him. After that, Rosca tries to push away the feelings of discouragement that creep into his mind, reminding himself that football is not just about one person but a full team game. In the next round, Rosca ends up on the same team as Yang, and he notices that most of the coaches seem to have their eyes locked on Yang, which makes him want to draw that attention toward himself instead. Later, Yang checks Rosca's stat chart and realizes that Rosca has some clear weaknesses, since he is inconsistent, lacking physical strength, and low in endurance. However, Yang also thinks that Rosca has strong judgment skills that can make up for those weaknesses and help him perform well on the field. When the match starts again, Rosca takes control of the ball, and when he sees Yang nearby he decides not to pass it to him but instead sends the ball toward another teammate, only for Casimiro to step in and block it right away. 5 minutes later, another chance comes to Rosca and this time Yang calls out to him asking for the ball, so Rosca listens and makes the pass. However, the ball ends up going a little too far, but Yang quickly uses his talents to catch up with it and then scores another goal without any trouble. When everyone sees this happen, they are surprised and begin to realize that Yang is simply too good at this stage of the match. Rosca also comes to understand that Yang's strength is not only in his passing ability, but he also has the speed needed for dribbling and a strong shooting ability that makes him dangerous all around. After that, Rosca sends the ball over to Yang once more, and the coach starts to think to himself that this might be the first time Rosca is actually working together with another player on the field. When the game finally ends, Yang has collected 2 goals and 2 assists, but right after that Rosca comes over and admits to him that he is actually pretty good. From then on, Yang puts his focus on adapting to the team's style during the U15 practices, and he eventually realizes that being able to adjust to the environment is the most important priority at this stage. On Saturday, the U15 National League officially kicks off, with a total of 20 teams taking part in the first division. Yang's first match is set against the Grêmio U15 team, and since they are only a mid-ranked squad, it makes them the perfect first opponent to face. Later, as everyone enters the field, Yang thinks that his role today is to hold the opponent in check with long-range shots, and he also wonders if there will be any tricky opponents waiting for him. It turns out that Grêmio's key player, Lujan, is not able to play in the match today because he is dealing with an injury. After that, the game officially begins, and Yang notices that within just 5 minutes his team is already dominating the play, but at the same time the tempo of the other team's counterattacks is actually extremely fast. Soon after, the Grêmio side starts using a swamp football style, which is basically a type of anti-football where players harass their opponents with rough play in order to force fouls. When Rosca starts to look angry at the way they are playing, São Paulo's captain Frenu tells him to stay calm and not get involved. After that, Frenu thinks to himself that Yang is a really deep thinker, and he finds it amazing how one single player can carry the entire team on his back, which makes Yang seem like a monster in his eyes. Right then, all of São Paulo's midfielders move forward together to attack and the ball eventually gets passed over to Rosca. However, one of the opponent players quickly blocks Rosca, and he struggles to break through the defense, but then he notices Yang signaling him to pass the ball to the right side. Right away, Rosca sends the ball in that direction, where Yang takes control, and Yang immediately speeds forward, running past the members of the opponent team with ease. Yang then gets close to the goal net and easily scores a goal like usual, which surprises everyone because he took a shot from 30 meters. Afterward, Yang gets some unprecedented talents and he finally gets his first rank up. Meanwhile, captain of Grêmio, Alec Wecker tells his team to stay focused. He wonders that if they open the flanks, they need to narrow the shooting angle as much as possible. After that, Yang gets surrounded and blocked by 2 players at once, and he wonders if they are really assigning 2 players just to mark him along with another teammate. Meanwhile, Alec thinks to himself that no matter how great Yang and Rosca might look, if they cannot score goals in the end, then they are completely useless. Soon after, Yang manages to steal the ball away from another player, but Alec and one more opponent rush in to mark him tightly again. This time they manage to block Yang's movement, and people watching start to think that their marking is incredibly intense, since they are not letting Yang move freely at all. Because of this rough marking, Alec ends up grabbing Yang and receives a yellow card from the referee. After that, Alec tries to push Yang again, but he suddenly gets shocked when he realizes that Yang is actually much stronger than he had expected. The match goes on, and then the ball comes flying straight toward both Yang and Alec, but Yang jumps high, hits the ball with his head and scores a goal. Meanwhile, the coach thinks to himself that this is Yang's very first heading goal in Brazil, and he still can't believe that Yang has the skill to score a header even with his short height and in his debut match too. He then remembers that Romario was also able to score headers despite being short, so he starts to believe that Yang might also have that same kind of devilish talent as Romario. On the other side, Grêmio's coach is already considering changing tactics by adding more defenders and switching from a back 4 to a man-to-man defense. After that, the second half begins and São Paulo makes some position changes, and then Yang easily scores his 3rd goal. Finally, the match ends with São Paulo winning, and Yang picks a talent that is called stylish volley kick. A little later, a man comes and says he wants to give everyone a real reward for winning their very first game. When Yang looks at him closely, he remembers that he saw his picture earlier in the hallway of the training place, and he understands that this man is Director Victor. Yang right away talks with him in a normal and casual way, which makes the other players around him very surprised and shocked. After that, Director Victor asks the team if they ever want to go see São Paulo FC's home stadium in Itaquera, and then he gives each of them tickets so that they can all go together. Right after this moment, Coach Carlo calls Yang over because the media reporters want to have an interview with him. During the interview, the reporters talk about Yang's first goal and say that it was a very strong shot that passed through a small space, and they ask him if he really planned that or not. Yang answers them and says he is always sure of his fast speed, and that is why he was able to make the goal the way he did. The next day, all the students get ready to go watch the match, but Monica is the only one who cannot join even though she really wants to. Some of the students begin to tease her and make fun of her, saying that she is too poor to even buy a single ticket for herself. At that moment, Yang shows up holding 2 tickets in his hand, and he asks Monica if she would like to go with him to watch the game. Right after that, Yang brings Monica with him to the Sky Lounge, where she can sit comfortably and enjoy the match with a wide and open view of the whole stadium. While Monica is watching happily, Yang starts to think about where Coach Carlo and Director Victor could be, so he leaves for a bit to look for them. As he searches, he comes across another man who is already speaking with them, and after a closer look, Yang finds out that the man is none other than Coach Ancelotti. After the game starts, Coach Ancelotti carefully watches the field and notices São Paulo's Ricardo Kaká, and right away he thinks that Kaká is an amazing player because he begins the match by pushing hard and cornering the defenders. Director Victor then speaks up and says that once the opening match is over, they will set up Kaká's schedule in a proper way so they can keep his condition strong. Coach Ancelotti adds that the person who trained Kaká is actually Carlo himself, so he turns to Carlo and asks him who he believes will be the next talented footballer. Carlo answers him without hesitation and says that the one who is going to become the best is the same boy he had met earlier that day. At the same time, Yang is also staring at Kaká and realizes that he is a true all-rounder player, someone who is not only excellent at sprinting but also a great playmaker who leads the attack and takes control of the game. While this happens, Coach Ancelotti keeps watching Yang closely, and he thinks that if Carlo chose this boy, then he must have real talent. Soon winter comes, and even though the weather drops to around 10 degrees Celsius, nothing is able to stop Yang from continuing his training every single day. The physical coach, however, warns Yang that he is in serious danger of getting injured because his knee cruciate ligaments are weak and could easily tear if he is not careful. After hearing this, Yang begins to make changes as he fixes his diet, corrects the way he holds his posture, and focuses on doing stretches along with balance exercises to stay safe. Not long after that, the National League begins and Yang starts off quickly in second place and then helps lead the team to victory by working together in strong coordination with Rosca. Coach Carlo then explains that the National League itself is not the main problem for them, but the Super Championship is, since it is the big tournament where all the regional league champions from the previous year come together to compete. Later on, Coach Carlo talks to Yang and Rosca and tells them that they will need to go through special training, because the next opponent they are going to face, a player named Carcelo, is known to be truly frightening. After this, Coach Carlo gives the players a detailed report about Carcelo's stats, and he reminds them that the U15 team from last year was completely crushed and badly beaten by Carcelo. Carlo explains that the reason he brought Yang into the U15 team was not only because they needed another strong attacker, but also because the squad required a solid pillar that the rest of the team could depend on. Carlo goes on to say that Carcelo's strong pressing comes from his amazing instant speed, and because of that he never allows his opponents any space to move freely. Hearing this, Yang starts to figure out that the only way to deal with him is to run even faster in order to escape Carcelo's press, while also pressing him hard from the front line so that Carcelo cannot overlap and take control. After explaining this, Carlo tells Yang and Rosca that they need to go meet with the tactical coach, since Frenu and Casimilo will already be waiting for them there. Before they leave, Carlo calls Yang aside and tells him directly that he will be going through special individual training, and he must come to the first team's training ground early the next morning. The next morning, Coach Carlo goes to meet Kaka and asks him if he would be willing to mentor a promising young player until the time he has to leave. After talking, the two of them arrive together at the training ground, where they see that Yang is already working hard and practicing on his own. Kaka walks over and introduces himself, but Yang almost panics inside because a true star from the grand stage is actually saying hello to him face to face. At that moment, Kaka's stats suddenly appear on Yang's window, and Yang realizes in shock that Kaka is not even in his prime yet, and still, he is already this skilled and strong. He also notices that Kaka has every single quality that a forward playmaker needs, with chance creation and ball distribution abilities that are both completely top-notch. Soon after this, they begin training together, and within just 1 hour Yang is already out of breath, but he tells himself that this only shows how far he still has to go and how much more he needs to improve. Afterward, Kaka laughs and tells Yang that he now understands what Coach Carlo means earlier. Before they start getting into serious training, Kaka asks Yang what job in football he really wants to play when he becomes a good player. Yang's eyes get bright with excitement and he says he wants to lead the game and control everything that happens on the field. Kaka thinks about this, then explains that this means Yang wants to be a playmaker, which is a player who sets up attack moves, controls how fast the game goes, and creates chances for his teammates to score goals. Kaka tells him that being a playmaker takes special skills like knowing what will happen, making quick choices, having good sense, and being able to see what comes next, just like great players such as Maradona, Zidane, Ronaldinho, and Messi have. He explains that a playmaker can also play in many different spots, from attacking midfielders to false nine strikers. Kaka sets up a practice game using orange cones and tells Yang to stand at a certain distance away from him. He wants to see if Yang has what it takes to become a great playmaker, so they start by working on getting the ball, since keeping the ball is the most important part of playmaking. Yang stands ready and pays attention while Kaka sends him a sharp pass that cuts through the cones perfectly. Yang runs forward, moving through all the obstacles, and gets the ball without any problems. Kaka raises his eyebrow because he is surprised and thinks that Yang is only 12 years old and they never trained together before, but Yang is already getting used to his style. Kaka sees that while Yang's quick reactions might not be the best yet, his speed and ability to know what will happen are really good for someone so young. Kaka calls out important tips and tells Yang to watch him instead of just looking at the ball, because if he follows the ball he will always be too late to make the right move. However, Yang listens to all of Kaka's advice carefully, and his strong desire to get better helps him with each move he makes during the training time. Even though he gets tired from all the running, he keeps up with Kaka's faster speed, and his skills get better with every single pass they practice together during their special training. Afterward, Kaka says they need to talk about Carcelo, and he tells Yang that he already gets what is important about breaking free from pressure. Yang he is excited and he asks Kaka if he has any tips for someone like him. However, Kaka says he will teach him something he uses against a defender who is as scary as Johnny Back when he plays in youth games. 15 days have passed, and now it is match day. The stadium fills up with excited fans who pack all the seats because they want to see the rising star Yang play. His recent games earn him the nickname Cavallo Marinho, and many people in the crowd whisper about the newspaper article that calls him a dragon in the making. When Yang steps onto the field he feels their energy giving him power. Yang watches Carcelo's movements very carefully, and he thinks to himself about how the defender plays. He notices that Carcel is rough but also flexible, and that his team's defense revolves around him while their counterattacks are really deadly. But Yang also sees a problem with Carcel's style as he keeps the ball too long and gets too confident when he tries to tackle other players. During the middle of the first half, Yang sees the perfect chance to attack. He gives Rosca a quiet signal, and his teammate starts putting heavy pressure on Carcelo's partner who wears number 2. This pressure makes number 2 feel confused, so he signals for a pass from Carcelo. As Carcelo moves to help his teammate, Yang bursts forward with amazing speed. Carcelo barely has time to react, and he thinks to himself about how Yang gets so close so fast. Rosca's tackle messes up number 2's control, which forces Carcelo to make a quick choice about whether to dribble or pass the ball. Before he can act, Yang presses forward with perfect timing. Yang remembers what Kaka teaches him about how players like Carcelo become weak against body checks when opponents press hard without giving them time. Yang uses a sharp move to steal the ball cleanly and runs toward the goal. Carcel chases after him, feeling shocked by the younger player's speed and strength. He thinks that Yang is like a wild and untamed force. Near the penalty box, Yang makes a quick pass to Rosca, who moves into a great position even though number 2 marks him closely. Rosca gets the ball perfectly and sends it back in one smooth motion. However, Yang sees his opening when a blonde player tries to block him, but Yang uses a calm inside foot kick to send the ball past the goalkeeper and into the net. The stadium explodes with cheers as the first goal hits the scoreboard. On the sidelines, Coach Carlo beams with pride and says that the play is perfect, stable, efficient, and not too hard on their energy. He turns to his assistant and adds that their 2 passes work perfectly and all their practice pays off. On the field, Carcelo stands frozen, staring at Yang as he celebrates with his teammates. When the first half ends, the team meeting room, Carcelo gets really frustrated and kicks a chair hard while his thoughts race through his head. He thinks that if they can win this game, then getting to the finals will be easy for them. But anger builds up inside him because he keeps remembering the goal that Yang scores right before halftime ends. Carcelo makes tight fists with his hands and thinks in a dark way that he cannot let some young kid make them look bad and embarrass them like this. 20 minutes pass in the second half, and a Sao Paulo player runs with the ball down the field. All of a sudden, a midfielder slides in from behind the ball carrier and takes the ball away from him. The referee shows a yellow card as punishment. On the sidelines, Carcelo looks really shocked and surprised by what he sees happening. He says quietly to himself that the other team is trying to make them angry so they will play a rough physical game. Then he turns to his teammates and tells them not to let the opponents drag them into playing at their pace and style. At the same time, Coach Carlo watches the game with wrinkles on his forehead because he is thinking hard. He knows what Flumin's strategy is because it looks just like famous mud football style that is made to mess up teams that play with aggressive attacking moves. Carlo gets a sneaky smile on his face and thinks that if the other team wants to play dirty tricks, then his team will take advantage of all the confusion they create. He shouts loudly that Costa should get ready to come into the game. The crowd gets really excited and makes loud noises as Costa, who is Sao Paulo's second forward player, steps onto the field to join the match. Yang watches what is happening with his smart eyes that track all of Carcel's movements. Yang thinks and analyzes that Carcel is being too aggressive, and their way of passing the ball around to different players is messy and not organized well. He realizes that if his team attacks right now, they can make the score gap bigger before the other team gets organized again. With his smart tactical brain, Yang finds the weak spot in their formation and sees that the second and third lines of players are too far away from each other. The Sao Paulo FC players start moving like a perfect machine, and their rhythm is so amazing that it puts a spell on everyone watching. Yang times his running perfectly and with a decisive burst of speed, he signals to Costa, who passes the ball forward to him. The entire crowd holds its breath and waits as Yang gets the ball and kicks it hard into the goal. Afterward, Yang stares at the screen, and thinks about having 15 days to fully learn this new skill and 3 more matches against Carcel to prove himself once again. He tells himself that this is just the start of something bigger and more important. Meanwhile, at a cafe, a man sits by himself drinking a coffee. It turns out that he is Antonio Serrano, who works as an experienced scout who has a really good eye for finding talented players, and he looks through all the reports that are spread out in front of him on the table. This year's young prospects are really exceptional and amazing, which makes his workload feel overwhelming and too much to handle, but one name keeps catching his attention over and over again, and that is Yang. Near his table, the cafe staff members whisper among themselves and keep looking at him. One of them complains that the guy has been sitting there for many hours with just one coffee and could not even order a slice of cake to go with it. Antonio does not feel bothered by their comments and continues looking through his notes carefully because his instincts tell him that this player could really shake up and change the entire football world. As he drinks the last drops of his coffee, he makes a mental note that he needs to see this kid play in action again very soon. 3 days have passed, and during a National League match, Antonio finds himself sitting in the audience as the first game starts between Santos FC and Curitiba FC. The stands are not completely full of fans, but they are packed with family members, journalists, and other scouts just like him, and everyone's attention focuses on one special player who is a rising star from Santos FC. As the match continues, Antonio's careful observations paint a very clear picture of the player's abilities. The boy has excellent agility, gentle ball control, and fancy footwork that shows real Brazilian style and finesse, but Antonio also notices an obvious weakness in his stamina levels. When the final whistle blows, the scoreboard shows a 3-0 victory for Santos FC, which does not surprise anyone since this year's championship heavily favors them. Antonio writes down some notes while thinking ahead to the next match between São Paulo FC, which is the real reason he came to watch today. Later, Antonio approaches Yang and gives him his card that he is a scout. 4 days have passed, and now it is time for pre-match tactics in Rio de Janeiro, where the team meeting room fills up with excitement. After 5 hours, São Paulo FC arrives in Rio de Janeiro and prepares for their rematch against Fluminense. Coach Carlos stands at the front of the room and tells his players that this is not just any regular match. He explains that they are playing on the opponent's home field, and the other team will want revenge after their last game together, so everyone needs to stay focused and alert. He says that winning or getting a draw will move them forward to the Super Championship quarterfinals, and even losing by just 1 goal keeps them in the competition, so they need to stay sharp during the entire game. All the players respond together by saying yes sir as they listen to advice. On the field, the tension feels heavy as both teams line up and get ready to start playing. Yang steps forward to shake hands with Carcelo, but Carcelo grips Yang's hand really hard like iron to show his clear intentions. Yang thinks to himself that this match is definitely one they have to win as the referee blows the whistle to start the game. Fluminense shows their plan early in the match by focusing on a strong side attack, with Carcelo playing in the right winger position and pushing forward with speed. Coach Carlo quickly notices what their tactic is, realizing that they are using a 4-4-2 formation designed to take advantage of São Paulo's narrow way of playing. From the sidelines, he immediately changes his own approach and tells his players to take control of the midfield area while also blocking the ball from being passed out wide to the side parts of the field. 8 minutes into the first half, Fluminense makes a smart pass that gets through São Paulo's defense line. Yang narrows his eyes because he sees the danger coming, and he realizes that they are trying to open up the wing areas of the field. He calls out to Rosca and tells him to fall back and make the midfield stronger. Rosca nods his head and moves to a different position, and São Paulo changes to a 4-3-3 formation to counter Fluminense's side-heavy playing style. Coach Carlos says that the sides might be strong, but the center area is weak, so they will win this game through smart strategy and planning. Afterward, Coach Carlo walks back and forth on the sideline because with Rosca leaving the game, his team is now down 1 player. He calls for Frenio and quickly changes their strategy by telling his players to focus on cutting off the opponent's passes, not giving away shooting angles, and avoiding unnecessary physical fights. He explains that they are switching to a false 9 tactic, which means moving Costa back and letting Yang take the new role instead. However, Frenio says he understands what to do. Carlo looks at Yang for a moment and thinks that the false 9 is a very flexible role that acts like a midfielder disguised as a forward who organizes counterattacks and manages the team's rhythm. He realizes that it carries a lot of responsibility, but Yang is their best hope for success in this difficult situation. As the game starts again, the commentators buzz with excitement and wonder out loud how São Paulo FC will overcome this crisis they are facing. On the field, Yang runs without stopping because he feels determined to prove that his coach's faith in him is worth it. He supports the midfielders, drops back to help with defense, and intercepts passes with perfect accuracy and timing. However, the absence of Rosca leaves a big empty hole in their formation, and no matter how much Yang strengthens their defense, Fluminense keeps making relentless attacks that find opportunities to score. Carcel becomes a particularly strong force that they have to deal with, and he seems like a completely different player from their last game together as he darts across the field with energy that no one can match. With a smart pass to his teammate, Fluminense takes advantage of the moment, and the ball flies into São Paulo's net while the stadium explodes with loud cheers that hurt everyone's ears. Yang thinks that this situation is really bad, but even worse things are still coming their way. Carcel strikes again by weaving through their defense and scoring another goal before the first half ends, making the scoreboard show 2-0 with Fluminense in the lead. The Sao Paulo players walk slowly to the locker room with their heads hanging down low, and the cheers of the home crowd feel suffocating and intimidating even to the most experienced players. Afterward, the scoreboard shows a combined score of 2-2 from the first and second leg matches, which means that if Sao Paulo FC lets the other team scores another goal, they will be completely out of the competition. If the score stays tied like this, the match will go to penalty kicks, so every single second of the second half will decide what happens to their future. The whistle blows loud, and the Sao Paulo players come out onto the field with a brand new energy that feels completely different from before. Frenu, their captain, organizes the defense by giving precise commands to his teammates. Before the second half starts, Yang approaches him and tells him not to feel pressured because they will hold the midfield together and fight as one united team. Frenu nods his head as his confidence gets stronger from his teammates' supportive words, and now he takes complete control of the situation. The entire team moves like one single unit and doubles their efforts to mark Carcel, who is Fluminense's most important player. On the sidelines, the commentators cannot hide how impressed they are as they say that Sao Paulo FC has made their defense much tighter and that Fluminense's offensive development gets completely blocked from moving forward. However, Carcel starts to grow really frustrated because no matter how hard he tries, Sao Paulo's defense refuses to give him any room to move around and make plays. However, Yang knows that their survival in the match depends on much more than just having strong willpower and determination to win. He keeps telling himself that they have to hold the defense no matter what happens, because if they fail even once, everything will be completely over for them. Even though the team shows strong determination, small cracks begin to appear in their formation as Carcelo uses his clever and tricky tactics to take advantage of the open gaps, especially on the left side of the field. Sao Paulo cannot choose to use a triple marking strategy either, because doing that would only leave other weak spots open and give the opponent new chances to attack. Fatigue also becomes a major problem during the game, since they only have 10 players available on the field, which causes their stamina to slowly fade away as the minutes keep passing. However, Carcel feels confident as he dribbles down the left wing, and he smiles at Sao Paulo's defensive line while thinking that they are exhausted and their stamina is completely gone. He also thinks that Yang is stuck covering Rosca's position, so he is overworked, and this gives them the perfect opportunity to win the game. With a quick pass, Carcel starts a triangle formation that is Fluminense's strategy to break down Sao Paulo's defense, and as the ball moves smoothly among his teammates, he prepares to make the final winning move. Afterward, Carcel looks for his chance to attack, but just as he makes his move, Yang darts in and intercepts the ball with perfect timing that amazes everyone watching. The ball flies back toward Fluminense's half, which forces Carcel to curse under his breath as he wonders how Yang is still keeping up with the pace of the game. Carcelo's mind races quickly as he tries to decide what to do next, so he passes the ball to one of his teammates and then moves into a better spot to receive it again, but Yang reads the entire play like it is an open book and steps in to intercept the ball once more. Carcelo's frustration boils over as he realizes that Yang was already aware of what his next move would be, and he thinks to himself that this guy is playing on a level that feels completely different from everyone else on the field. Right after that, Sao Paulo FC shifts their approach and switches into an all-out attack mode, as the players push forward with every bit of energy and strength they still have hidden deep inside them. The ball reaches another player, who manages to pass it cleanly to Yang despite feeling tired and exhausted. On the sidelines, Coach Carlos says that it does not matter how little possession they have had or how many players they are down, because the game gets decided by goals and there is still time for one last strike. Afterward, Yang thinks that he just needs 1 minute of everything he has got left. Another player pass connects perfectly, and Yang takes off by surging forward with breathtaking speed that stuns the commentators, who wonder how he is moving like this after 89 minutes of running without stopping. After that, Sao Paulo FC goes for a desperate counterattack while the stadium turns wild, filled with loud cheers and angry shouts as fans scream for their team to fall back and defend the lead. Meanwhile, Yang struggles for breath as his lungs burn and his muscles feel like they're about to give out. At this point every Sao Paulo player is drenched in sweat, but they keep moving forward because this counterattack is everything to them. Yang gets flashes of the brutal game against Munich running through his mind. That match went into overtime, but somehow this one feels even harder. It feels like they're running only on willpower, maybe some strange force, or maybe just pure hunger to win. Carcel watches from a distance, frustrated, wondering how they still have this much energy left. He thinks they must be robots or maybe made some deal with something beyond human. Meanwhile, Yang rushes at the goalkeeper and with one last burst of strength, Yang kicks the ball. The ball shoots past the keeper's legs and hits the back of the net. For a second, the stadium goes silent, then everything explodes with celebration, and with that Sao Paulo FC finally scores their first goal. Meanwhile, Carcel sits on the bench and stares at the field while thinking that he was so close to winning and success. He knows that scouts must have been watching this game, and this was his big chance at getting recognition from important people, but he completely messed it up. Yang approaches him with his jersey soaked in sweat. He holds out his hand and offers to swap jerseys with Carcelo, which makes Carcelo wonder what is happening. However, Carcelo realizes that Yang, of all people, is trying to comfort and console him after the defeat. He removes his own jersey and hands it over to Yang as a silent way of acknowledging that he lost today, but this day will also be a stepping stone that he will never forget for the rest of his life. Later at Sao Paulo FC locker room, where the coach stands in front of all his players and tells them that they played well today, but he reminds them that this is just the quarterfinals and they should not get ahead of themselves because there are much bigger battles waiting for them in the future. He mentions the National League, the Regional League in June, and the Champions League in December, and then he pauses to look at each player individually before telling them to be ready for what comes next. Yang leans back against his locker and catches his breath and thinks about the Champions League and realizes that it means he will get to meet talented prospects from other countries around the world, which excites him because he is just getting started on his journey. Meanwhile, Director Victor tells Coach Carlo that the scouts have been bothering them a lot these days, and many of them keep asking for information about the game that was played yesterday. Coach Carlo answers by saying that there will only be more scouts coming in the future, since Yang is getting better and better, and winning the championship this season is no longer just a dream but something they can really achieve. He also adds that he wants to make an appeal about Rosca's red card, since he feels the call was unfair. A few days later, the Federation sends back their response to Sao Paulo's request and announces that Rosca's action during the match had been unintentional, so the ruling is recognized as a misjudgment. Later on, Coach Carlo gathers the players and informs everyone that Rosca's red card has officially been cancelled, which means the whole team is now able to play together again without any problems. The next day, Kaka says goodbye to Yang because it is time for him to leave, and Yang thanks him deeply for all the help and guidance he gave during his stay. Yang also starts to think about the talents he gained during Kaka's special training, since there are several of them, and he realizes it will take time before they can all be fully obtained. When Yang looks at his screen, he notices that a U-tier talent can even change into an S-tier talent, but during that transfer period he cannot copy or gain any other talents at all. He also finds out that a player cannot unlock a lower-ranked talent of the same type if they already own a higher one. On top of that, talents are only available to elite players who are over 18, and U-tier talents are rare and unique, meaning only that single player can ever have them. What makes Yang most curious, however, is the actual grade of talent, because he thinks that Kaka already has an S-tier talent even though he is still not at his prime yet. On the other side, Yang compares this to Gabriel, who only had one S-tier talent but was stacked with many strong A-tier talents to support it. It is finally July, and Yang sits with Monica as they watch a match where Greece easily wins the European Championship crown. When Yang sees the result, he realizes that it is exactly like he had predicted, right down to Greece winning the title with their strong and supreme defensive strategy. While he is focused on the game, Monica keeps staring closely at Yang's face and then says that something seems wrong about him. She quickly calls Maria and explains what she noticed, and Maria agrees by saying that Yang's overall vibe feels a little different. Together they reveal that Yang must have lost weight, which explains the change they both sense. A few days later, Yang jumps quickly out of bed because today is the important day when his synthesis is finally complete. He opens his system window right away and finds a new talent called Storm Dribbling, Su tier. Looking at it, he wonders in surprise if this Su rank might be a special unique grade, since it is the very first time he has ever seen one appear. Days pass by, and Yang keeps practicing non-stop while often falling asleep on the bus, and he feels that September has been one of the most exhausting months for him both mentally and physically. At the same time, Real Madrid scout Antonio takes time to read through Yang's record for the past 5 months and studies his progress carefully. Later on, Coach Carlo gathers the team and informs everyone that their next opponent will be Santos FC, and he warns them that this team has a player who is already recognized everywhere as Brazil's top young prospect, Neymar. A few days later, the long-awaited match finally arrives, and inside the Santos locker room, their coach Pamela tells her players that today's game is extremely important. When the players hear her words, Cabagal, Canso, and Daymar all respond with confidence, saying right away that they will win the match no matter what happens. After this, both teams step onto the field, and Yang starts thinking to himself that Daymar must surely have a talent that is rated even higher than the so-called football genius. The match kicks off with Santos attacking right from the very start, and Daymar shows his speed by quickly running past Costa, who is left shocked and frozen by how fast he moves. As Daymar gets closer to the goalpost, he notices Cabagal standing on the far side while blocking another Sao Paulo player, which creates a perfect opening for him. Daymar then takes the shot, but instead of the ball going straight into the net, it smashes against the pole and bounces back into play. The ball ends up rolling toward Rosca, and Daymar suddenly realizes this could turn into a very dangerous counterattack. Without wasting any time, Rosca passes the ball quickly to Yang, and Yang charges forward like a beast, sprinting toward the goalpost before striking hard and scoring a goal for his team. When Daymar sees this happen, he becomes frustrated and tells himself that it was not really a mistake on his part but simply pure bad luck, since his shot hit the goalpost and then dropped right over to the opponent's side. What makes him even more upset is the fact that Yang did not use any kind of special move or advanced technique to score but instead managed to get the goal only by dribbling quickly and running straight through. As the match continues, Frenyu struggle to keep up with the fast pace of the game. Daymar keeps breaking through the defense with elegant dribbling skills that look smooth. Coach Carlo watches from the sidelines and carefully observes everything that happens in the game while thinking back to the opening goal that Sao Paulo scored earlier. Since that first goal happened, Santos FC has regained their momentum and started playing much better than before. The key to Santos FC's success on the field is Daymar, whose ability to create space with his top-tier dribbling skills makes him a constant threat that the opposing team has to worry about at all times. Carlo knows that once Daymar gets control of the ball, the formation and positioning of players does not matter very much because he can change everything with his individual skill. As Daymar approaches the defense, Coach Carlo orders his team to send Rosca to the center position so he can operate with a double pivot strategy, and Casimiro drops back to support the flank defense and help protect their goal. The players on the field hear the instructions and acknowledge the shift in their positions, and as they adjust to the new formation, Yang shouts for Casimiro to drop back while urging the defense to push further up the field. Casimiro feels hesitant about making this move, but he knows that the tactical change is crucial because Daymar is already attacking with great precision and skill that threatens their defense. The Santos FC players pass the ball to Daymar again, and Frenyu tries his best to block the talented player, but exhaustion has finally caught up with him after running for so long. Casimiro quickly realizes that Frenyu needs support and help from his teammates, but by the time he understands this important fact, it is already too late to make a difference. Daymar weaves around both defenders with incredible skill and technique, and with a precise strike that shows perfect accuracy, he sends the ball flying into the goalpost and scores a spectacular goal that amazes everyone watching. The Santos FC players pat Daymar on the back and praise his incredible finish, while Frenyu and Casimiro bend over and gasp for breath because they feel tired and frustrated by what just happened. The first half ends with a score of 2-2, showing that Yang has scored 2 goals for Sao Paulo FC while Daymar has scored 1 goal for Santos FC. Afterward, the second half begins and the commentators remind the viewers that Santos FC brings in their defensive powerhouse Felipe, who is a center-back with reflexes so sharp that he could probably catch a fly in the air. Yang gets the ball and Rosca passes it to him with a look that says to do something amazing. Yang runs straight toward the Santos FC goal with his usual confidence while shouting that everyone should leave it to him to handle the situation. On the defensive side, Felipe gets ready because he knows that Yang's breakaways are dangerous, quick, unpredictable, and deadly for the opposing team. Felipe thinks to himself that Yang is coming right at him, and he absolutely has to stop the attack, but he has seen videos of Yang playing and knows he just needs to maintain his distance from the attacker. The anticipation builds up as Felipe recalls watching hours of footage and trying to learn all of Yang's tricks and moves, but something feels different and off about today's performance. Felipe wonders where this version of Yang came from because today he seems faster, and his dribbles look even smoother and more skillful than usual. Felipe has to stay focused and not panic as he tells himself that he knows Yang's moves and what he is going to do next, but then he starts wondering if Yang is going left or faking right to pass the ball to Costa instead. Felipe's mind spins around in confusion as Yang fakes a move and then makes his real attack. Suddenly, Yang stops completely in his tracks, which makes Felipe freeze up because it feels like he is being hit by a truck that is not even moving. Yang has completely beaten him, but Felipe still tries to stay calm and thinks to himself that he needs to hold it together for just a few more steps until they can get Yang trapped in a formation. But then, in the blink of an eye, Yang's eyes lock onto Felipe's with lightning-fast reflexes, and Yang makes a sharp pass to his left foot. Felipe watches in complete disbelief as Costa dives to the right and catches the ball before anyone can blink or react to what is happening. Felipe thinks that he has been completely outsmarted, and he curses under his breath as he sprints to close the gap between himself and the play, but it is already too late to make any difference. Costa has all the time in the world to slot the ball past Santos FC's goalkeeper for a perfect goal, and Sao Paulo FC scores again. The next day, Coach Carlo sits down and reads the newspaper that talk about Santos FC preparing for the rematch, which is the decisive match they believe will likely happen next February. Carlo thinks that their defense had been too shaky and unstable in that last match, and even though Yang and the team were playing well, they could not afford to continue playing this way. Frenu was struggling more against Daymar than Carlo had expected him to, but for his own development and growth, he needed to face that wall head-on and understand how to stop Daymar's relentless style of play. Carlo knows that the team has learned a lot from their battle with Santos, but he also knows they need to make their strategies better if they are going to keep their spot at the top and tackle their remaining challenges. That afternoon, as the team gathers on the training field, Yang, Frenu, and Casimiro are already working hard on their skills. Carlo cannot help but admire their dedication because even after a difficult match the day before, these players are already out there preparing for what comes next. Yang is truly something special because his passion and talent cannot be denied by anyone who watches him play. What surprises Carlo more, however, is that Casimiro and Frenu are also joining in the extra practice sessions. He approaches them with a smile on his face, and his voice sounds warm as Yang asks what he is doing there with clear amusement in his voice. Carlo chuckles and says that it is good to see them working hard because they have to win the next match too. Yang nods his head and says of course they cannot stop now, which makes Carlo's heart swell with pride because this is what a professional mindset looks like. From that day on, Sao Paulo FC focuses heavily on practical training, and Yang begins leading extra sessions where he gathers teammates whenever he can. How long do you think it will take for Yang to become a world-famous football star? Comment "football" if you'd like a part 2 of this series. As usual, thank you for tuning in, make sure to subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next one.